Well, day one is down of, I don't know, roughly about 40 consecutive days and nights of NBA basketball, playoff basketball. We had a quad header here. If you are just joining us live here, of course, on SKAP Live After Dark, this is the first edition, playoff edition of SKAP Live After Dark. It has been a year now, and I am very happy to be back on live with all of you guys. The Lakers and Rockets just wrapped up, and this game set basketball back like 20 years. Literally, it felt like we were like 20 years earlier watching this game, a 107-98 final. This year in the NBA, 115 points per game, league-wide average in the regular season, one of the highest in league history, the highest since the 1960s, so the highest in the modern era, and a bunch of lower than you would anticipate scoring games today, but none as assy as this game. The Lakers and Rockets, I say assy particularly on the Rockets side, who just undeniably humiliated themselves in this game. The Rockets, who are hefty favorites to win this series, even though, look, both of these teams wanted each other. That is the hilarious irony of what's going on in this series. Basically, the two most desirable non-play-in matchups in the Western Conference get each other. The two teams that wanted one another desperately get what they were asking and wishing for, because the only team that the Lakers could have beaten potentially in the first round was the Houston Rockets. Likely ditto for the Rockets. The only team they can potentially beat in the first round is the Lakers. They get each other. The Lakers, no Luka Doncic, of course, no Austin Reeves, both likely ruled out for the entirety of this series. So the Rockets have a little tone-setting opportunity here in game one, slide into, well, I almost called it Staples Center, but as we know, it's Crypto.com Arena now, whatever pathetic name change situation that was. But the Rockets slip on in to the Crypt and rip game one and set the tone in this best of seven, because the bum KD, this guy, such an unmitigated scrub. I go back and forth. I vacillate. I waffle. I love this guy's game. He just doesn't have it from the neck up. That's why, despite arguably a top 10 all-time NBA skill set, this loser still only has 2 championship rings when he coattailed himself to them on the Golden State Warriors. Tonight, a prime example. We don't know till like minutes before tip-off that he's not going to appear in this game. I heard nothing about this. Apparently, he collided with a teammate in practice on Wednesday and picked up a little knee contusion, a little bruise on the old knee. He had a multitude of imaging done, nothing structural, basically just a matter of, pain tolerance. He goes out, tries it out in pregame, full dress, ready to go, and then deactivates like a half an hour before tip-off. And the Rockets just look like sheer garbage. The Lakers completely gutted. Again, no Luka, no Reeves. The 20th best defense in the NBA this year, the LA Lakers, hold the Houston Rockets, sans Kevin Durant, to 38% shooting from the field. This game easily winnable for the Houston Rockets if KD could have managed to bother dressing, instead looking like an absolute scrub on the bench with a tassel cap on. What is up with players wearing tassel caps in NBA arenas, by the way? Just a ridiculous scene tonight for the Houston Rockets. And they seemingly mentally cannot get over the hurdle of KD deactivating himself just minutes before tip-off. Again, 38% shooting from the outside. Thanks for nothing, by the way, Alfred Şengün. What an insult to Nikola Jokic that this guy somehow took the moniker of Baby Jokic. Please never use that ever again. Take Nikola Jokic's name out your mouths as it pertains to Alfred Şengün, who you would think would do the heavy lifting for this Houston Rockets squad without KD. Again, Alfred Şengün, 19 points on 6 of 19 shooting. And again, most of those points came in sheer doo-doo time in the fourth quarter when this game was all but over. I mean, I think he had 11 points through 3 quarters. Just a trash performance by him, but pretty much a trash performance by everyone on the Houston Rockets tonight. I mean, I can't really point. I mean, Reed Shepherd had 17 points, but it took 20 shot attempts to get him there. Meanwhile, on the other side of things, the LA Lakers, poor old man Braun with no help, obviously, without Luka and AR. The heavy underdog LA Lakers let all of the excuses already start, and yet the Lakers come out with a very balanced attack tonight. All 5 starters in double digits tonight for the LA Lakers, despite Luka Doncic and Austin Reeves not being available. LeBron James, not even the leading scorer in this game. He was the co-lead. He was the second. I guess he tied for second, the co-second leading scorer on the team with DeAndre Ayton. Yes, both LeBron and Ayton put up 19 tonight, while it was Luke Kennard who led the way for the LA Lakers tonight. Luke Kennard with 27 points on 9 of 13 shooting from the field, 5 of 5 from the three-point line. Luke Kennard. And in the Lord's year of 2026, the LA Lakers, without Luka and AR, get a win in the playoffs led by Luke Kennard. And yet, of course, the Lakers have no help. I'll tell you who looks like they have no help is the Houston Rockets, because that bum-ass squad looked absolutely abysmal without Kevin Durant. Of course, the Rockets are also, just ravaged with injuries. They lost their starting point guard, Fred VanVleet, in advance of the season in July in training camp. They then lost their starting center, Steven Adams, midway through the year for the remainder of the season. So already without 2, scheduled starters for them before the season began in tonight's game. And then KD, again, couldn't be bothered to take off the tassel cap and get in the game here. So the Lakers, 107-98, led by their defense, again, like the 20th best defense in the league. The Lakers, spearheaded by their defense, and Luke Kennard take a 1-0 series lead over the Houston Rockets here in that best-of-7 game between the 4-5. Guys, look, there was a lot of other action tonight in the association. Of course, the Denver Nuggets were in action against the Minnesota Timberwolves tonight in what figures to be maybe the best series of the entire first round. That's East or West. These guys had met 28 times in the last 28 games, I should say, that they had played prior to today's game 1. They were 14-14. You can't get any closer than that. These two teams know each other very well. There is a lot of chippiness and a lot of, I'd say animosity. I don't want to, maybe even hatred. They definitely dislike each other. It got chippy at times. Jaden McDaniels shoved Nikola Jokic in the back under the basket at one point in that game, picked up a technical foul. It was a pretty solid game, I'd say, back and forth, really. The Nuggets did not have it early on in that game. They came out. They made only 6 field goals in the first quarter and turned the ball over 6 times in the first quarter, en route to the Minnesota Timberwolves taking a 10-point lead. But then it was all Nuggets from there in the second and third. They won the second by 12 points, I believe, and they won the third by 10 points. So they outscored the Timberwolves 22 points in all in the second and third quarters to seize control of that going into the fourth. Look, it tightened in the fourth, and Minnesota got it to within 2 points about halfway through the fourth quarter. But then Jokic went to work down the stretch, and coupled with a lot of mistakes by the Minnesota Timberwolves. I don't know if you guys watched, but there was just a couple sequences in that game. The Timberwolves essentially quit playing at one point when there was a deflection. I think Jamal Murray regained the ball around half court and just chucked it up towards the end of the shot clock. It hit the backboard, grazed the rim. Therefore, it reset for the Nuggets. The Timberwolves just stopped playing because they thought it didn't hit the rim. That was a major juncture in that game. So the Nuggets got an easy layup there. They lost their, cooler heads did not prevail for the Timberwolves down the stretch. They got a number of just ridiculous fouls as well down the stretch. Julius Randle had a couple weird fouls on Aaron Gordon. Just the Timberwolves essentially came unraveled in the fourth quarter of what otherwise was a very close, hard-fought game. So I think that is going to be more than likely a very tightly contested series. More than likely a 7-game series, at least like 6 games. That series will go deep. It will be lengthy. Ho-hum, Nikola Jokic with an easy, matter-of-fact triple-double in that one. 25 points, 13 rebounds, and 11 assists. His 22nd career triple-double now in 95 career playoff games that he has played in. And how about this? Try this one on for size. That is third most in NBA history. He trails only LeBron James and Magic Johnson. He is now 6 behind surpassing LeBron James and 8 behind surpassing Magic Johnson. He has played in 100 fewer playoff games than Magic and 200 fewer than LeBron James. And Jokic has a shot, if they go far enough this year in the postseason, to surpass each of them. Just an unbelievable and storied career by Nikola Jokic continues. Jamal Murray with 30 in that game, despite only 7 of 22 shooting from the field, but he got to the free throw line a ton. There was a lot being made about the Denver Nuggets free throw shooting, by the way, after this one. They, you had Chris Finch, the Minnesota Timberwolves, whining and complaining about how many free throws that they shot. I want to get the exact discrepancy. It was the Timberwolves shot 19 free throws on the game and 33 for the Denver Nuggets. But so look, everybody whining about the Nuggets free throw discrepancy after the game. 16 of those came to Jamal Murray. Nikola Jokic, who continues to be one of the most disrespected superstars, both on and off the court. I say on and off the court because the media hates this guy's guts. 2 of the best seasons in NBA history in the last 2 seasons. Will not get an MVP for either of them. But also he gets no respect on the court because, quite frankly, he has the worst whistle I've ever seen for an all-time great player. Nikola Jokic today, 19 shot attempts on the day, which was the second most on the team behind only Murray's 22. And as I look at the Minnesota Timberwolves, Anthony Edwards also shot 19. So a co-tie with Anthony Edwards for the second most shot attempts on the day for Nikola Jokic. And he got all of 1 free throw. Jokic, 1 free throw attempt. This guy gets absolutely beat to shit all game long. People hanging off him off the ball. And then he shoots 19, takes 19 attempts with 1 free throw. So a lot of complaints going on about how many free throw attempts the Nuggets got. And yet Nikola Jokic still continues to be the most disrespected all-time great I've ever seen, with like the worst whistle I've ever seen as an all-time great player for Nikola Jokic. But the Denver Nuggets with a big Game 1 win today against the Minnesota Timberwolves, a team that many say own the Denver Nuggets. We hear that commentary coming into these playoffs. The Nuggets now this season, counting this win today, 4-1 head-to-head against the Minnesota Timberwolves. So, look, neither of these teams get a lot of rest now moving forward. Game 2 in that one is Monday night at 10:30. And look, I, as a Nuggets guy, would like more time in between because Aaron Gordon hit the ground multiple times in the fourth quarter, and I was just gasping, holding my breath, cringing, like couldn't even watch, like hoping that he got up and kept running down the court. It was like 2 or 3 times he hit the ground, and that is always a bad sight if you're a Nuggets fan because they desperately need that guy on the court. However, the lack of rest also is going to affect and impact the Minnesota Timberwolves here because Anthony Edwards, remember, is nursing that knee injury, and he didn't quite look physically right in this game either. He didn't have a terrific game, definitely not by his standards, just 22 points on 7 of 19 shooting from the field. And look, guys, as we work our way around the league here, real quick, we had Atlanta and New York. The Knicks were in command of that game for pretty much most of the game. They led virtually the entire game, and they were up massive in the fourth quarter. It got kind of tight down the stretch. The Hawks cut it to, I think, about 7 points. They were down near 20 with like minutes to go, but they went on a quick I think it was like a 13-0 run. They got it to 7, but the Knicks ultimately just hold on and prevail. Nice win for them. That's going to be I think that's going to be an entertaining series. I think the Hawks could make something of it, but a very good win in game 1 in Gotham City for the New York Knicks. And really the sole game that kind of just wasn't really that interesting to me today. The Cleveland Cavaliers get off to a nice start. Just a team effort today out of them. 126-113. They beat the Raptors. And it was just like I said, you got Donovan Mitchell with 32 today. James Harden in his playoff debut with the Cavaliers, 22 points, 10 assists, double there for him. So look, the Cavaliers have a lot of expectations here after that trade deadline move for Jimmy Harden. And we'll see what they can do. A nice start for them. Overall today in the postseason, well, I would say a nice little start for the NBA by and large. No super compelling games today. No, like play-in type finishes that we saw during the first couple play-in games. That Hornets Heat game, which was a magnificent finish. Even the Portland Suns game in day 1 was a very enthralling play-in game finish. Nothing like that today, but by and large, pretty good games. The first game, the Cavs, Raptors, not so good. And then the last game, look, it was billed to be LeBron v. Durant. So that one you would expect those two would be the big headliners. And again, KD was just sitting on the sidelines in a tassel cap. So just a pretty pathetic and embarrassing display by Kevin Durant and by the Houston Rockets. Who knows where we go from here? I'm not sure. I think that game 2 is on Tuesday, and then game 3 is until Friday. So you would think KD has to dig deep into that commode of a soul that he has, gut check himself, and take the tassel cap off, damn it. Crawl onto the basketball court for game 2 on Tuesday, because look, the longer you extend, the more the probability that Luka and AR comes back. So you want to get this game. It is of vital importance that they take game 2, the Houston Rockets. It was obviously a very winnable game 1 if they had Kevin Durant or if Luke Kennard didn't have the game of his absolute life. But guys, that's where we're at right now. Quad header today. Pretty much all of the upper echelon, the teams you would expect all won today. Denver was favored, they won. The Knicks were favored today, they won. The Cavs were favored today, they won. The Lakers were actually dogs, but by 2 points. They were like 6-point underdogs, I believe. And when the KD news rolled around like 6 seconds before tip-off, the line shifted quickly to -2. If I were a wagering man, which I am, I would have had a little juice on the Lakers getting points at home. Oh, and just to put a bow on it, LeBron James, I'm sure many of you want me to hear me talk about him. LeBron with 19 tonight, 13 and 8 on 9 of 15 shooting. Look, old man Braun had about 10, I think he had 10 points, end of 3. And they were rolling in the fourth. LeBron was padding the point total for himself in the fourth. He had a nice little game from a facilitation standpoint, 13 assists, though 8 of those 13 assists came in the first 9 minutes of the game, I think. But still, a nice game for LeBron. But look, I was anticipating if the Lakers were to win tonight, LeBron was going to have 35, 13, and 10 or something like that. Not too shabby for LeBron, not asking too much of him to have the second highest point total on the team, along with DeAndre Ayton. And then Luke Kennard, like I said, leading the way. A very balanced attack by the Lakers, starting 5. 19 from James, as I just mentioned. 14 from Rui Hachimura. 19 from DeAndre Ayton. 15 from Marcus Smart. And 27 from the aforementioned Kennard. The Lakers show as a team 61% shooting from the field. So the Rockets, as I mentioned in the lead here, 38% shooting for the Rockets from the field, 61% shooting for the Lakers. So the Rockets have allegedly a pretty elite half-court defense, and the Lakers defense stinks, and yet the Rockets couldn't score to save their lives tonight. They shoot 38% from the field, and the Lakers shoot 60% with no Luka and no Austin Reeves. Just a pathetic performance by the Houston Rockets. And I am a humongous Ime Udoka fan, one of my favorite coaches, one of the best in the business, if you ask me, and a guy who has mixed it up with LeBron James in the past. And if I were Ime, I would be mixing it up with my own trash team in the locker room tonight. Just a classless, characterless performance by them. So that's where we're at, guys. Obviously, we're going to get in here. I know I've got some super chats already coming in. Thank you guys very much. We've got about 60 people here in the SKAP Live After Dark. Welcome in to all of you, 675 people. Love to see it. The waters, as always, are warm here after dark here. We are now in the midst of the actual playoffs, so I'm hopefully going to be getting on and doing these live streams with some kind of consistency and regularity. Like I said, I'll hit these. I got some super chats already coming in here. I will get in there and connect with you guys. Obviously, bunch of stuff going on in the main chat as well. And of course, as always, we have moderator Gary, aka the gaslighting one from last year. We are having some audio weirdness going on again tonight. Whenever his mic is unmuted, I'm echoing, so we'll be balancing him and bouncing off each other. But Gary, go ahead and unmute yourself and say hello to everybody tonight.
I'm not in a very good mood right now.
Why is that, Gary?
This was not a very... It didn't go according to plan. I'm a little disappointed by my guy KD. And I don't understand what the heck is going on. We'll see how this carries out. I tell you, if the Lakers win this series, I don't think they will. I think Durant will play. But if he sits this whole series out, I'm sorry. Something foul's going on with the league. All of a sudden, he happened to get a knee contusion in practice. And now he can't play, and LeBron advances. Now, I'm jumping ahead, obviously. But I've seen what the league does in favor of LeBron. So that's why I'm having PTSD. Because I've seen this movie before. What do you think, Scott? Would you agree? Suspicious?
Well, Gary, I'm going to remute you there. I see a lot of, there are some conspiratorial theories going on. I know that somehow LeBron has got to KD, or the league offices have got to KD, and they've decided that he's not going to play to help bolster the probability that LeBron James is going to move on into the second round. Look, if LeBron were to win, is this even, are we going to celebrate this? If KD doesn't play for a substantial period of time in this series, people are going to be, of course, drooling, bootlicking, and jock sniffing LeBron James for carrying the Lakers to the second round without Luka Doncic and Austin Reeves. Is it really a carry job if the Rockets themselves are down 3 starters basically from the beginning of the season, including Kevin Durant? Well, I would present to you that no, that the Lakers at that point, if I were told that KD was going to miss significant games in this series, I would have thought that the Lakers would and should win this series. Also, if LeBron James is only scoring 19 and you got DeAndre Ayton dropping 19, you've got Rui with 14, Marcus Smart with whatever it was, 15, he's at 15, and then Luke Kennard with 27. Well, obviously, I would think that the Rockets were going to have a difficulty with winning that game, and the Lakers would likely win that basketball game. So we'll see what happens if KD can take the tassel cap off and muster some intestinal fortitude in game 2, which I do believe is on Tuesday night. And then again, they will have like 3 full days off until the series shifts back to Houston. I believe it's on Friday night then next. So KD, please lose the tassel cap, put on the uniform, get in some run on Tuesday night, and then take 3 days off and then take the 2-1 lead. It's really not that hard, KD. This will be more so than it will be something to celebrate LeBron over. This will be something to rip KD about. And so if this is, to me, wouldn't be like a feather in LeBron's cap of his resume. It would be yet another, point of detraction from KD on his. Like, remember all the other abysmal moments of KD's career? Like, this would go. Remember when KD ducked the Lakers when they didn't even have Luka Doncic or Austin Reeves? Like, and he faked a knee injury from some sissy little contusion he got going knee to knee with some teammate, like when 3 days before the actual game. So, I expect KD to crawl his ass back onto the court on Tuesday. And if he doesn't, then obviously we need to have some even harsher words for Kevin Durant moving forward. And potentially, maybe, yes, the league should do some kind of an investigation at that point. But at this point, no, I'm not ready to rise to the level of any kind of conspiracy theories at this point that the league and or LeBron James have been intervening on Kevin Durant and trying to get him to sit this game out so that the Lakers could bolster their chance of winning. Look, ultimately, I wouldn't mind seeing the Lakers win this series because I don't want them to have any excuses when they ultimately bow out of the playoffs. Like, I want them to just fail miserably on their own merit at relative health and strength. So, look, it wouldn't be the worst thing to me if they do find a way through this series, get Luka and AR back for series number 2, which would be against the Oklahoma City Thunder. And that will be just a hilarious series to watch, in my estimation. Guys, we also had Bronny James tonight making his big playoff debut. I think he might have gotten some garbage time last year, but I don't think so. Not that I know of. He got his first substantial run in the postseason. This guy I think he was in the first quarter. Certainly he got time in the first half. So Bronny James, only 4 minutes though. He did activate playoff mode just like Pops. 0 points for Bronny tonight. But 0 points, 1 turnover. Really the only stat line he had tonight was 1 turnover, 2 personal fouls, but he was a +3, so he was not in the negatives, at least on the plus-minus scale, though no one on the Lakers was. Every player that played tonight on the LA Lakers generated a positive, aside from Kevin Durant being just a scumbag and a loser for sitting in his tassel cap and ducking this game. The other major takeaway for me on the Houston Rockets side of things, again, I already mentioned it earlier, Alperen Sengun, just a scrub performance tonight by him. Like, this is a guy, I was wrong. I got to admit, I got to put my hand in the air and just take culpability for my terrible take on him preseason, because I suggested that Alperen Sengun was going to take the leap this season. I thought he would be like second team All-NBA this year. Like, I missed on that one because this guy, I mean, not a great banner year for him. I thought he would be the guy on this team. KD was still kind of the guy, even though, whatever, he's 36 years old now at this point, but still Sengun did not ascend to where I thought he would. And then tonight is just a prime example of why Sengun ain't shit, if you ask me, because there's no KD. You are the guy now with sans KD. Like, it's time for you to step up and be the man tonight, Alperen. And you're playing against a team, the Lakers, with just lackluster defense and pretty mediocre post defense as well. I mean, DeAndre Ayton came out and played a pretty inspired game actually tonight. He had 19 points and 11 rebounds, so a double-double for DeAndre Ayton. And actually, I misspoke. Marcus Smart was actually a -5 tonight. He was the only Laker in negatives on the plus-minus. Marcus Smart actually led the Los Angeles Lakers in plus-minus per game this season. And he's the only guy in tonight's playoff win game 1 with a negative. So that's a little odd and surprising to see. But DeAndre Ayton, a +7 in 35 minutes, 19 and 11. So he actually, Alperen Sengun got outplayed by DeAndre Ayton. Enough said. Like, that is a horrendous game by you, Alperen Sengun, if you're getting punked and outplayed by DeAndre Ayton of all people. So just a completely pathetic and small performance out of the Rockets. The only guy that looked like he had a little fight in him tonight for Houston, that looked like he wanted to be on the floor, quite frankly, was Reed Shepherd, and he just couldn't He couldn't hit anything tonight. 6 of 20 from the field, 5 of 14 from the three-point line, 17 points, but again, on 6 of 20. And then Şengün did lead them in scoring with 19 points, but 6 of 19 shooting. And again, he only had 11 points through the first 3 quarters. This game was practically over at the end of the third quarter. They played to a 32-32 even tie in the fourth. So, the Lakers were up by 9 at the end of the third, and they never really ceded control at any point in the second half. The Lakers looked way better to start the game. The Rockets closed them. It was a 50-48 game at halftime, so the Rockets were within 2. You kind of could feel the momentum shifting to Houston, and then the Lakers just came out and put them away early, I thought, in the third quarter, and just imposed their will. And the Rockets just, just whimpered away like the scrubs they were tonight on the floor, because I expected a lot more from them tonight, even without Kevin Durant. But obviously, it's Kevin Durant's responsibility to get on the floor and actually just try to get his team off to a good start. I think Gary and I know, Gary, we're having the audio issues, but Gary and I were kind of quibbling during the Nuggets Timberwolves game about the importance of game ones. I think game ones are undervalued and underutilized in best of sevens. Like, a lot of people, and I'm not just saying Gary was doing it. First of all, Gary is far more optimistic than me overall. I am a pessimist through and through. I have literally one sip of my water missing out of the cup right now, and still my cup is half empty in my estimation. So I am an eternal pessimist. But still, I will maintain that game ones, people are far too flippant and dismissive about game ones. And again, Gary, I'm not saying you. I'm just saying in general, people are like, oh, well, it's only game one. It's just a feel it out game. I think game ones really dictate the course of many series. Game ones are like a total tone setter to me, particularly if you are the better team at home. I feel like it's almost a must-win game. Like, if you go down 0-1, it seizes away control. Home court is taken away, snapped right there. And then game 2, the road team is playing loosey-goosey with house money. If you get game 1 on the road, then all of a sudden you're playing fancy and free with game 2. You might just F around and take game 2, and then series is completely over. If you go down 0-2 at home, in a best of 7, just kiss it goodbye. You're not going to win that game. So to me, game 1 really is a very important game for the home team, which is why, again, tonight in the nightcap, I think the Rockets just had the completely wrong approach to this. They probably thought, well, KD's a little banged up. Let's go ahead and rest his knee, see if we can just steal one here in game 1, and then we'll bring him back in game 2 if we get game 1, and then we'll really avalanche the Lakers and take game 2, and then the series is over. But that was a miscalculation, because the remainder of the Rockets that were on the floor without KD played like a bunch of losers. So it seems as if KD likely should have gut checked it on and played through whatever sissy little knee bruise he might have picked up on Wednesday. So now it's the Rockets whose backs are against the wall, in my estimation. I know what they say, this series doesn't really begin until the home team loses. So even if the Lakers win game 2 to go up 2-0, the Rockets, could still go and, quote, take care of their business in games 3 and 4. But I think that the Rockets had better, if they want to win this series, they better go and take care of their business and take the steal, get the split in game 2, heading back to H-Town. So anyway, the other home teams also all took care of their business. So 4 home teams, 4-0 today. Tomorrow, you would expect the same, a bit of the same, because for some reason the NBA put the 4 best series on one day, in my estimation, and the 4 worser series, or the lesser of the compelling series, are all on tomorrow's slate. I don't know why we couldn't mix up and put a couple good games today, a couple good games tomorrow. I was looking over the lines, as I always do, because I am a betting man, as you guys know. I was looking over the lines for tomorrow's games, and it is ridiculous to see the lines. I think This is off memory. I'm just looking at the little scoreboard for tomorrow, but so I don't see the spreads on here. This is off memory. Boston, I believe, is minus 12.5 against Philly. Oklahoma City is minus 15 in a playoff game. The Thunder are 15-point favorites. Detroit, I believe, is 10.5-point favorites against Orlando. And then San Antonio is 10.5-point favorites against Portland. So 4 games tomorrow, 4 double-digit favorites. So I will be obviously shocked if any home team loses tomorrow. So what we're looking at here now is a world where 8 home teams go 8-0 in these first 8 games here on Saturday and Sunday. But of course, we'll get into Sunday tomorrow when those games take place. Right now, we're talking tonight, and we're 35 minutes in now at this point. SKAP Live After Dark. We have like 800 people in here now. Shout out to all of you guys. Welcome to the party, guys. 800 in the SKAP Live After Dark. Love to see it. Playoff basketball is upon us, and I love to have all of you guys here with me. Gary is indicating he's got something. Go ahead, Gary.
You owe someone an apology on the Rockets. Terry Eason. His stat line, 16 points on 7 of 7 shooting with 10 rebounds and 3 steals in 24 minutes. So he did give some effort.
Fair. I'm gonna remute you because of the echo. But yeah, 16 from off the bench, mind you, in 24 minutes. So 16 points for him in 24 minutes on 7 of 7. Probably need to start that guy next game. Ime, let's take literally any one of these scrubs off of the starting lineup from tonight and just insert Terry Eason into the starting lineup. Because, yeah, 16 points. You're right, Gary. Shame on me for missing him. 16 points on 7 of 7 and 10 rebounds. 16 and 10 in only 24 minutes. So, yeah, we need more of him and less of literally everybody else on the Houston Rockets tonight. And again, maybe Mr. Tossel Cap, Kevin Durant, could get himself into the lineup for Tuesday. Gary, let's go ahead. We're approaching the 40-minute mark. We got some super chats flying around in here. Let's go ahead and welcome in some of the audience here in the SKAP Live After Dark, starting with the Incorruptible, the obviously a regular in here on the videos. What's up? Shout out to you, Incorruptible. Gary, what is the question or comment from him tonight?
I'm late to the realization that KD is overrated.
Yeah, I mean, Gary's feeling a little under the weather tonight. I don't want to get Gary overly worked up here. He's a big KD guy, a big proponent and supporter of KD, as we all know. I do like KD. I am a fan of his game, but it's just little things like this that annoy the ever-loving hell out of me about Kevin Durant. So, he's had a good career, but it's things like this, like 2 championships with all of the movement that he's deployed and all of the great teammates that he's had to work with throughout his career. It's just an underachievement, ultimately. Like, LeBron James has moved around a lot. He's built a lot of super teams. He's done a lot of seedy and underhanded things. But he did at least win 4 championships. Now, of course, that's in like 23 years and counting now, 4 championships. So it's not like, it wasn't like 4 championships in 11 or 12 seasons. It's 4 in 24 years or whatever, 23 years this year. But I doubt they're going to win it this year. So if he comes back next year, it would be 4 in 24 years next season. But like KD's only got the 2. So now obviously he's had a lot of bad luck in different times throughout his career, and specifically in the postseason. I'm thinking primarily of the ruptured Achilles when he was playing with Golden State. And then, that would have been a three-peat, and he would have probably been finals MVP 3 straight times. So that was terrible luck. And then if James Harden and Kyrie Irving both didn't get hurt for that Milwaukee Bucks series, the series that the Bucks won in 7 ultimately, and then went on to win the NBA championship, Durant probably would have won that one too. So I don't know, that would have been like 4 and 5 years or something like that. 4 and 5 years, or maybe 4 straight if he didn't rupture the Achilles. So he's had a lot of bad luck, but ultimately at the end of the day, 2 is 2, and he should be doing everything in his power to try to expand upon his right now kind of subpar and lackluster postseason career, not sitting on the sideline in a tossle cap in game one and basically giving the Lakers a win to go up 1-0 in this series. So Incorruptible, I don't know. I'm still torn on KD. He's obviously one of the all-time great players. I did a top 15 all-time scorers list recently, and KD was on. I want to say he was 4th on my list, actually. So he was very high. He's definitely top 5 on that list. So he's had a tremendous career, but yeah, there's definitely some things you could say negatively about Kevin Durant, like tonight with this just bizarre inactive tonight. Next thing, we've got Wolfsbane, another regular. Welcome in, Wolfsbane. Thank you so much for being here. Gary, what does Wolfsbane have for us tonight?
Sucks that my Hawks lost, but at least we kept it competitive to the fourth quarter. Hopefully we keep a better pace in Atlanta. By the way, is LaMelo the new Trae Young?
Yeah, that was an epic gag job by LaMelo Ball. I didn't even get into that. I'll talk about that real quick. Because look, I was just so utterly wrong about those two playing game finales. I really fully anticipated the Warriors having a good look at that game. I didn't know if they would win it, but I thought they could. I thought they would be very competitive and have a shot to win it. They were really never in that game. They got blown out in the first quarter. They scrapped it back together by halftime. I think they were down 5 by halftime, but then the Suns just controlled the entire second half. And it was a farcical ending, like Draymond Green getting ejected with a minute left. The game basically ended with a minute left. You had Draymond and Kerr and Curry hugging each other and like handshakes taking place with like a minute left in that game. So that game just nowhere near as close as I expected. But then the Hornets game was even worse. Like I really thought the Warriors had an opportunity to win that game. I thought, period, flat out, that the Hornets would win their game. The Magic looked terrible in their first playing game. And the Hornets have been so good all year in the second half of the NBA season. And LaMelo Ball, he just crapped his pants in that game. A guy who, he's social media famous. He's carried an immense following on social media before he was really even in the NBA. And then once he got in the NBA, I think that ridiculous 6'7" bullshit, whatever, the young kids, that 6'7" thing, which I still don't understand what that is. I think that is somehow tied to LaMelo Ball. So he's, a big deal, I guess, off the court. He's a pretty good NBA player, ultimately. I think he's got 20 point per game, 7 assists per game, career averages. But yeah, just an utterly tiny performance. Of course, he had that boneheaded and very dirty, dangerous leg sweep on Bam Adebayo in their first playing game. And then just a systemic no-show in their second play-in and the play-in finale, which ultimately eliminated them. He had some stat pad palooza situation in the fourth quarter to get his line to a respectable looking one. But when the game was really being decided in the first half, they were down by 31 at the end of the first half. And Ball had 2 points on 1 of 6 shooting over that span of time. So just a bummish performance out of him in that game. And as for your Hawks, Wolfsbane, look, they're a very good defensive team. The Knicks they're a solidly built playoff kind of a team. Like they've got everything. The Knicks, by the way, they were just solid all season long. They were like the 5th, I think, best net rated team in the NBA all year long, but they are really a team that is built for postseason success. But still, the Hawks, they've got a bright future. I think they will win multiple games in this series. I think this will be a compelling series. So fear not, Wolfsbane. Your Hawks will be getting back in to this series, in my estimation. If it is 2-0 after it leaves New York, I think when it goes back to Atlanta, I think that they take a game or two there. So this is going to be, I think, a pretty decent series. And I'm one that I'm expecting that I'm going to be dialed into. Like I said, I think basically all of the best series were played out today. The four best series were played out tomorrow. And the NBA just saved that ass slate for tomorrow, where like every team is favored by double digits. Of course, with the Thunder having the biggest favor line of like 15 points in a playoff game. It's just, I know it's an 8-1, but still 15-point line is just crazy. Next thing we've got FF_Rusco, I want to say. FF Rusco, what is up? Thank you very much for supporting us here on the SKAP Live After Dark sesh. And Gary, what does FF Rusco have?
Nuggets saved by refs, little bro.
Am I little bro in this equation? I guess, Gary, should that sentence have been Nuggets saved by refs, comma, little bro, as if he was addressing me as little bro? Okay, I guess. Well, FF Rusco, look, I'm 6'3" and I'm about LeBron James's age. That's about all I'll say. So unless you're bigger than me or older than me, you're the little bro in this equation, my friend. And I guess he must be a Jamal Murray fan, because he has his little avatar there is a split screen of SGA and Jamal Murray. Maybe FF Rusco is a Canadian and he's repping the two Canadians there in Shea and the Blue Arrow. Either way, if he's a Jamal fan, as I would imagine he would be, I don't know why he's saying the Nuggets were saved by the refs, because his main guy, Jamal Murray, who shot 7 of 22 from the field today, was 16 of 16 from the free throw line. So really, it's his man, Jamal Murray, that was saved by the refs, not the Nuggets. I think Jamal getting 16 free throws will just kind of counteract the one free throw attempt that Nikola Jokic got in this game. One free throw, just preposterous. I do want to check one thing. I want to see how many free throws Nikola Jokic shot for the season. I'd like to get a look at his free throw attempts per game comparatively to the other, marquee superstars in this league. Let's see here. Free throw attempts. Yes, that's exactly what I want. Free throw attempts per game. All right, let's see here. Well, Shea, Luka, they both shoot about 8 per game. Avdia shoots 7.4 per game. Booker, 7 per game. Just going to look at the... Hang with me. Please, hang with me, guys. Free throw attempts. Where is the per game? Why is this so difficult to navigate? Well, I can say that he is 10th league-wide in free throw attempts. Luka and Shea were 1 and 2. Avdia, 3. Paolo Banchero, 4. Jaylen Brown, 5. James Harden, 6th. James Harden, 6th in the NBA in free throw attempts this year. Julius Randle, 8th. KD and Nikola Jokic rounded out there in the top 10. Nikola Jokic this year, I'll just say, shoots 7.4 free throws per game, which actually is his career high. He averages 5 free throws per game for his NBA career. So just an appallingly bad whistle for Nikola Jokic, if you ask me. But yes, to FF Rusco's point, it was 33-19, the free throw discrepancy in that game, but only 1 to Nikola Jokic. We've got, let me see if I can get this word right, or this name right. Brian's Tech Therapy. What's up, Brian's Tech Therapy? I'm glad I could not mangle that because the wording all ran together there. Brian, what is up, my friend? Thank you very much for the very generous super chat here. Gary, what does Brian have, question or comment for us tonight?
Keep up the great work, brother.
I appreciate you, Brian. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for supporting us here. And I will do my best this playoff season. This is the time that I love. Make as many videos as I can, be on as many live streams as I can with you guys. So many thanks to all of you, obviously. And Brian, thanks obviously for the support. Next in, we've got, oh wait, is this How is this the same picture as, now let's compare this to FF Rusco. Do you think FF Rusco just changed his name to whatever this is down here, or is this just the same exact avatar that FF Rusco was using above? We have an FF Rusco and E3E controversy going here because these are the exact same avatars. And yes, this is at, I don't know how to say this, E3E maybe, not quite sure, but it is another, it looks like another Nugget specific question. So this could just be the same person with two different handles. Either way, thank you for the question and for the super chat. I do appreciate it. Gary, what is the question or comment here?
All right. He wants me to put my rap skills on display here. McDonald's Murray needs to be making a flurry before he gets buried in a hurry.
Gary, I think we could speak for the entire chat in that we don't want to hear anything like that again. So let's try to keep the singing and the rapping to a minimum, if at all possible here, Gary. But I'm not really sure how to respond to this one. McDonald's Murray needs to be making a flurry before he gets buried in a hurry. Well, it certainly rhymes. I'll give you that. Perhaps this person is a poet and he didn't even know it. I'm not quite sure.
No, I have the impression that he actually wanted it to be rapped. That's what the impression I have. E, if you're in the comment, let me know. Did you want that to be rapped? Was that how you intended it? Just out of curiosity.
I could say that I see E3E in the comments just laughing. There's just little laughing emojis there. So either way, I think he enjoyed it. He said yes. He said he did. He or she said yes. They did want that rap. So well done, Gary, with that. I'm just in the main chat right now, and I see Jet707 saying Ime Udoka is getting canned soon. What they should do is can the entire team and keep Ime Udoka, in my estimation. I'm a big Ime guy. But yeah, that was just a pathetic display tonight. Not below not good. In the words of, oh gosh, I'm trying to, who said that? That was Gary. I think it was Brian Casserly. Or no, something. It was an NFL analyst. Casserly is his last name. I can't think of his first name, but he was on NFL TV and they were talking about the Kyler Murray draft and where he was going to be, where Kyler Murray, I can't think of the guy's first name, Charlie Castlery, I don't know, I'm mangling this guy's name, but it was such a funny bite by him. He was talking about Kyler Murray. Sorry I got derailed, but I said below not good. He was talking about Kyler Murray and just buried him in the pre-draft assessment on NFL TV, and there was a huge backlash against him for being so negative about Kyler Murray. And the exact quote was, Kyler Murray's study habits not good, his leadership skills below not good. So below not good is one of my favorite sound bites. Anyway, whatever this guy's name is, I don't know why I can't say his last name. There was a lot of backlash for how negative he was about Kyler Murray. And then now we see he was right. His pre-draft assessment was spot on about Kyler Murray. Anyway, I digress and get back to basketball and the super chats here. We've got AV1912Z1J. That is quite a handle there. What is the question or comment from, I'm just going to call AV. Thank you, AV, for the question or comment. Gary, what is that question or comment?
Baby Jokic. Keep going, SKAP.
I stricken the Baby Jokic nickname from the annals of history. Whoever and whenever came up with Baby Jokic as the moniker, the nickname, the handle, whatever, for Alperen Şengün, we need to just rip that immediately, strike it from history. It never happened. Alperen Şengün was never Baby Jokic. It's just disrespectful and insulting to Nikola Jokic Let me just see Alfred Şengün. I want to see how old he is. He's probably still only like 23 years old. So I'm probably being a little overly harsh on him. He is only 23. He turns 24 on July 25th. So like, look, this guy, I mean, he has had a very solid career for the first 5 years of his career. Being only, like I said, just 23, still. I mean, in an age 23 season, 20 points, 9 rebounds, and 20 points, 9 rebounds, and 6 assists on 52% shooting. It was a terrific season for him, and a back-to-back All-Star season. But I'm sorry, you have a responsibility when you are in a playoff setting and your alleged leader, Kevin Durant, has a little bruisey on his knee that he can't manage to take his tassel cap off in an arena that's probably 78 degrees and get in the game. You've got a responsibility if you're an all-star, back-to-back all-star like Alfred Şengün. You got a responsibility to your team to be the guy and lead the way. He just simply was terrible tonight. Terrible. And I don't care what the final line, whatever. It looks okay. 19 points, 8 rebounds, 6 assists. Like, all right, it's okay. But he shot 6 of 19. And when the game was being decided, he was just so passive. I barely even got the sense he was on the floor. And at one point, he's like 3 of 13 shooting. I think he was 3 of 13 shooting for 11 points at the end of the third quarter. Like, thanks for nothing, bro. And then he just shows up in stat pads at the very, very tail end of the game. Just a disgusting performance by him, honestly, tonight. Like, I don't care. He is only 23, but this is his 5th NBA season. And he's a back-to-back all-star, and he should have played bigger than that. I mean, to get outplayed by DeAndre Ayton in a game where Kevin Durant wasn't in the game, just an inexcusable performance by him, AV. So that's why I'm snatching that baby Jokic nickname off him. I don't want to hear or see it anymore. No, it just doesn't exist right now to me. We've got type sheet in next. Love it. Love the handle there. Type sheet. Thank you very much for the super chat. I do appreciate you very much, Gary. What is the question or comment? I see Kobe's name flashed up here, so I'm very intrigued and excited to hear this one. Go ahead, Gary.
Gen Z here, born in 01, watched Kobe's back-to-back in 09 and 10, but when I said LeBron was never a GOAT, everyone said I was crazy. Much respect, Scap.
Damn, type sheet. Much respect to you, bro, because I've got a 2001er. I mean, first of all, I know it's hard to believe because I know I look good type shit, but I am like almost twice your age, believe it or not. But it is so utterly refreshing to see someone who was born basically, I mean, I'm sure you barely even remember Kobe. I mean, other than that, you say the back-to-back, but you were like 8 years old when that was happening. I mean, I was, to put that in some kind of a contrast or comparison, I was like 8 years old when like Hakeem, like when Jordan came back for the second three-peat. I guess I was like 11, 10 or 11. I'm trying to do the math. He came back in 95, so I was like 11. And I could barely remember. I mean, I remember it, but like, I don't know. I couldn't know much about NBA basketball at that time as like a 10, 11-year-old. I obviously loved Michael Jordan and was enamored by the greatness. But in terms of like having analytical skills or basketball analysis ability at that point, at that stage and age, obviously that didn't come for several years. And now when I look back on it, you know, I remember Jordan. My main memories of Jordan are like the 98 run, the Last Dance run. I think I was in the 7th or 8th grade during that run. So anyway, you were younger than that when you saw Kobe play, and yet you still got Kobe. I think I'm reading this right, above LeBron. I like that. And you're not a LeBron jock sniffer, even though you came of age during the LeBron era, if you will. So no, much respect to you. Shout out to you for being like a sane, rational, and reasonable basketball fan as a younger person. We need more people like you out there in the world today and populating the social media forums and talking some sense into this next generation. But yes, the Kobe Bryant 09-10 run, I mean, just solidified to me his Mount Rushmore status. Kobe just, speaking of guys, look, Kobe had a lot of bad luck in his career. Like, and this is what I'm saying about, this is my point about Kevin Durant. And for that matter, my point about LeBron James. Both of them have caught bad luck throughout their careers, you could say. Like KD, I already highlighted and referenced that, like, dude ruptured his Achilles in a series where he easily would have three-peated and probably been finals MVP. And then he lost out on another ring, whenever I'd say Kyrie and Harden got hurt in that, I think it was 2022, I want to say, where Milwaukee went on that run and beat the Suns in the finals. Look, that was a 7-game series between the Nets and the Bucks without Harden or Kyrie that KD, you thought, ended it with that 3. Remember, in like regulation in game 7, KD looked like he hit the game-winning, series-clinching 3, but upon review, his toe was on the line. So the game ended up going into overtime. The Bucks prevail in overtime, then they go on and win the NBA championship. Look, obviously the Bucks would have lost that series to the Nets if Harden and Irving both didn't get hurt. So, like, KD got some bad luck. Gary 828 Sports has highlighted it. Great videos. You should go check it out, about the officials kind of taking away the series for the Oklahoma City Thunder in 2012 against the Miami Heat. Some extraordinarily questionable calls in game 1 and 2. Because remember, the OKC won game 1, then some very questionable calls in game 2, which would have led to a 2-0 series lead for the Oklahoma City Thunder. Totally different scenario at that point if you're up 2-0. So, look, KD could have, should have, would have had more rings. Same with, you can say, LeBron. Like, LeBron, all right, like the first series that the Warriors won in 2014, they go in, the Cavs go in. Go ahead, Gary.
15. 14 was Spurs.
2015. Okay, so 2015. The first championship run by the Golden State Warriors and Steph Curry. They go into that series against the Cavaliers. Kevin Love is already ailing and out for at least game 1. Kyrie gets hurt in the first quarter, I think, of game 1, and he misses the rest of the series. So Kevin Love and Kyrie Irving both missed the entirety of that series, and yet the Cavaliers had a 2-1 series lead in that series against the Warriors. So, like, again, if you just envision a world where Kyrie and Kevin Love don't get hurt, because guess what? It happened the very next year when the Warriors were 73-9. They get back in and play the Cavs. That time, Kyrie and Love are in, and they beat the Golden State Warriors. So, like, that's bad luck for LeBron. So bad luck. I'll let you in a second here, Gary. I just want to finish the point. My point is here on this Kobe thing. Everybody has bad luck. Like, Kobe tore his labrum in his right shooting arm when they were going for a 4-peat and they lost to the Spurs. He tore his labrum in the first round against Minnesota that year, and they ultimately lose to San Antonio in the next round when Shaq and Kobe were going for the 4-peat. So, like, bad luck. Kobe ruptures his Achilles when he's still like a top 5 player in the NBA. Bad luck. So every player catches bad luck. Kobe's franchise, the Lakers, were just abysmal and inept and traded Shaquille O'Neal away for Lamar Odom, Brian Grant, and there was a third player. I'm struggling to remember, but a terrible trade in the midst of Kobe's prime, when he's in his absolute best, has no opportunity to compete at all. Bad luck. Every player can point to bad luck. Michael Jordan with the Scottie Pippen migraine game against the Pistons in Game 7. Like, every player catches bad luck. But ultimately, Kobe Bryant still found his way to 5 NBA championships, even in the most stacked era, the most stacked conference in NBA history. That's why he's Mount Rushmore. And KD, in like a 16-year career, has only found his way to 2 rings. So, like, I get that bad luck exists for everybody, but like for LeBron, 4 rings in 23 years, underachieving. KD, 2 rings in 16, 17 years, whatever it is, underachieving. Kobe Bryant, Mount Rushmore. The dude finished, he played 20 years, but he had season-ending injuries in 3 years. You could technically say 4 years, but I'll say just 3. So that's 5 rings in 17 years in a stacked-ass conference. That's exactly where you want to be if you want to be Mount Rushmore. Go ahead, Gary. I'm sorry to overly ramble there, but go ahead and make the point that you had.
I was just going to emphasize that when, yes, LeBron had Kyrie and Kevin Love go down with injuries, but they were playing an organic Warriors team, and they were a bot manufactured super team. So that's why I don't feel bad for them at all, because they were playing an organic team, drafted, and that's how you build, and that's why they were so organically good for so long.
Definitely fair. But yet and still, like, and I do believe that those Cavs, like, I will fight, I will argue to my grave that Cavaliers team was undeniably a super team. The Cavaliers, like a mercenary, inorganically built super team. So yeah, no, I had no remorse. I obviously didn't feel bad at all for LeBron. I'm just saying, like, that likely should have been another LeBron ring. Like, it would have probably been another LeBron ring. But, you know, and then who knows? Because the next year, Curry's hurt. And the Curry's not right by the time they get with the 73-9 team. Curry's not right by the time they get to that Cavs series in the finals. And then foolishness ensued. Draymond Green got suspended. There were the center, the name is escaping me right now for the Warriors, got hurt as well in that series. Andre Iguodala got hurt. So there was a bunch of things that transpired. Like, the Cavs got really lucky, you could say, the next year. So it basically evens out. Like, if the Cavs would have won that 15 series, well, the Warriors likely should have won that 16 series. So, you know,
Andrew Bogut.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah, exactly right. All right, we've got E3E back in. Oh boy, there's more singing. He wants more rapping, Gary. So come on. You gotta get your voice ready for this, whatever this lyricist is that E3E has provided for us.
All right, everyone. This takes intense preparation. These rap skills, they don't come along every day. So I'm going to take about 30 seconds of silence as I prep. No, I'm not a professional. I just sound like one. Murray, jump shot blurry, McDonald's flurry, Wolves in 5. Hold on, encore. Murray, jump shot blurry, McDonald's flurry, Wolves in 5. Who wants a 3-peat? Chat, let me know.
I'm muting Gary. I've just muted Gary for that. Nobody needs that. No one needs the 3. Don't let him know, chat. Wait, no, we need Gary to put it down forever. Gary getting a lot of love in the comments there. Wolves in 5. Wow, I don't know. I definitely don't think that. It wouldn't shock me. Look, the Wolves are a very good team. They do. Again, they play the Denver Nuggets very tightly. I talked about it in the lead in that they were 14-14 in the last 28 meetings against each other coming into tonight's game. So, look, and the Wolves were very good this year without Anthony Edwards. So the Wolves have a very, very good team. It would not surprise me heading into the series if you told me that the Wolves won a 6 or 7 game series. It wouldn't shock me. But after having seen the way game 1 went, I think no way that is a Wolves in 5. Like, no way do the Nuggets lose 5 straight games. I'll just knock on wood there. I don't want to jinx the Nuggets, but if the Wolves win, it's gonna be like 6 or 7. So I don't know if that was E3, if that was just like a for effect or something that you just wanted to have Wolves in 5 mentioned there. I don't know, but next thing we've got 6 Wheel Cowboy. What's up, Jason? Shout out to you. Welcome to the SKAP Live After Dark. And thank you, my friend, as always, for being here and supporting us. Gary, what does 6 Wheel Cowboy have?
Not a single member of Inside have OKC in the finals. That is crazy.
What? Jason, if you're still here, just you do not need to send another super chat. Just go into the, I did not see this. Go into the main chat, Jason, aka 6 Wheel Cowboy, if you're here, and let me know who are the picks. Who do there's what, 4 guys on Inside? I guess maybe Ernie didn't make a pick. So maybe just the 3 guys being Charles, Shaq, and Kenny. Go and let me know who do they have in the finals. Like, if not a single one. I mean, I guess they all have the Spurs. That is insane that not one. I don't know if Jason's still here or not. Gary, Gary, I'm guessing you didn't see this either, right?
Nope. I would have assumed that Shaq and Barkley would know better.
I mean, that is just shocking. What's up, Jet 707? SKAP, the lottery is rigged. Sorry, I'm just in the main chat. I see flashy things, aka I see these comments in the live chat. And I'm just checking those out. But Jet, please stop the rap. I'm with Jet 707 on this one. Yeah, I wish Jason, what's up, Dark Steel 8835? What's up, brother? I wish I knew who. I can't imagine that not one person had them in the finals even. Like, I think really the only team, well, the Spurs, I think, have a shot of beating the Thunder. And I think the Celtics do have a shot of beating the Thunder too. But I would say that the Thunder are the overwhelming favorites to get to the finals. They have a ridiculously easy pathway to get to the West Finals. I mean, they're a 15-point favorite tomorrow. So they're going to smoke the Suns. I think they were 3-1 against the Suns in the regular season. The Suns did win one game on a Devin Booker buzzer beater 3. So the Suns, look, it would be a miracle if the Suns win one game in the series. So that's a sweep more than likely. Then they're getting the Rockets and their bum asses. Look, with what the Rockets did tonight, just a putrid and pathetic performance. You look that pathetic and lousy in the half court against the shitty Lakers defense. 98 points on 38% shooting tonight against the abysmal 20th ranked Lakers defense. Like, what will that team do against one of the best defenses ever assembled? Spoiler alert, likely gets swept. And then even if Luka Doncic and Austin Reeves come back for the Lakers, look what the Thunder did to the Lakers with Luka and Austin Reeves and LeBron at full health about 2.5 weeks ago, before Luka and AR got hurt. They were up by like 25 on them in the first quarter. It was like a 40-point game or something at halftime. So, like, you got to imagine the Thunder are going to sweep their way. Like, they're going to just ride brooms like the 3 sisters in Hocus Pocus on their way to the Western Conference Finals. So, at the very worst, they're one series away. And then, look, if Denver gets there, which is a huge, huge if, because they got to beat Minnesota first, then they got to beat the Spurs. Look, I think the Thunder match up very favorably against the Nuggets, even if they're healthy at that point, which they likely won't be. But you got to think that they're going to go then win that series at probably at best the Nuggets get 2 games there. Now, if it somehow is the Spurs that get through, then that series could be a bit more challenging. But I find it very hard to believe that all 3 dudes on Inside the NBA would pick San Antonio, because it is a question mark that the Spurs get through the Nuggets. Because while the Nuggets don't match up well at all against the Thunder, they match up very well against the Spurs, seemingly. They beat them 3 straight times. So that is just a puzzling and a haterade type pick by Inside the NBA to not have any of the panel on there have the OKC Thunder in the finals. Crazy. Next in, we've got the Thinking Man news break. What's up, Thinking Man? Welcome into you to the sponsor area here in the SKAP Live After Dark. Gary, what does the Thinking Man have for us tonight?
The Rockets have been off kilter since KD's burner accounts leaked. I would not be surprised if he gets traded in the offseason. He's too toxic.
You know, that's a good point. Let me look this up real quick. The burner accounts happened at the All-Star break. So that will not be difficult to find. Let me do this. So pre-All-Star break, stand by, guys. Thanks for bearing with me as I navigate this site. Regular season. Let's go pre-All-Star game. The Houston Rockets had the 6th best net rating in the NBA. They were 33-20. So the Oklahoma City Thunder were the number 1 net rated team by a mile pre-All-Star game. Detroit was number 2, Boston number 3, New York Knicks number 4, Spurs were number 5, and then the Rockets were number 6 pre-All-Star. So and they were 33-20. So post All-Star now, because the burner gate with KD occurred post All-Star break. The Houston Rockets, look, their net rating surprisingly just around about the same, 6 plus 6 on the net rating scale, but only 9th best league wide, 19-10 they were. And the Spurs obviously skyrocketed to best. So it's actually humorous. Like the Spurs and the Rockets were right next to each other in the net rating scale pre-All-Star break. The Spurs skyrocketed to number 1 league-wide post-All-Star, where the Rockets dropped to 9th, below the Knicks, the Nuggets. The Pistons were above them, the Celtics, the Hawks, the Thunder, and the Hornets as well. So definitely worse in the post-All-Star break span. But I do believe that's post All-Star game. I think if we look at like the last month, maybe they were probably even worse. I don't know. I mean, they look pretty good. They ended the season. I mean, they played nobody. They played a bunch of trash teams to end the season by and large. But I mean, they ended the season very well. Actually, they were from March 27th to the end of the regular season, they were 9-1. So their sole loss was to Minnesota, 136-132. So I don't know. That was just a minuscule performance. That was just a low character performance by virtually everyone on that team, other than Tari Eason. Apologies to Tari Eason. 16 points, 7 of 7, shooting 10 rebounds in only 24 minutes off the bench. Again, Ime Udoka, if you are watching tonight, Ime, I'm a big fan if you are. But if you're watching, more Tari Eason, less of everybody else tonight, and maybe more of the tassel cap, KD. Hell, maybe KD can wear the tassel cap in the game. He could just if he could dress and get in like maybe 25 minutes at least. If he can manage to scrounge himself into around 25 minutes, that would be swell. And perhaps Ime could see if the league will allow some kind of a tassel cap exemption for him. We'll have to wait and see. hold our breaths to see on Tuesday. I'm sure it'll be a big story in the next 2 days. Will he or won't he play? And if you're a Rockets fan, you better hope that he does. Next in, we've got Milk Ross. I don't know. Mike Ross. I don't know why my mind is turning that into milk. Mike Ross, 6767. Shout out to you, Mike Ross. Mike, what is up, my friend? Thank you for joining us here in the sponsor area of the SKAP Live After Dark. Gary, what's the question or comment from Mike tonight?
Seems like KD was right about Sengun after all.
Yeah, speaking of the burner gate and the burner accounts, and KD disparaging and trash talking his own teammates, and Sengun was not immune to those tweets, or whatever we call them on X now. Yes, because KD, I believe he was complaining about Sengun's turnovers and his defense. And yeah, KD, I guess he wasn't wrong, because Sengun did, not only in addition to him just being small, tiny, and a non-factor offensively. Again, he was like 3 of 13 for 11 points at the end of the third quarter. He ended with 19 on 6 of 19 shooting. He just looked terrible offensively, and really just a non-factor. He was just not assertive. He just seemingly wasn't. I didn't even know he was on the court half the time. But in addition to that, he was terrible defensively. I honestly do believe Albert Sengun defensively is what people think Nikola Jokic is. Like, he just looked terrible tonight on defense. So, Mike Ross, you're right. KD ain't wrong with his tweets. I'm sure the "get off my Dickerson," which is KD's alleged burner handle, I think "get off my Dickerson" will be prolific tonight in the post game here. Hopefully he is disparaging Alperen Sengun as well, that he should be. Next in, we've got Giuseppe DeRosa. What's up, brother? My friend, regular supporter here on SKAP Attack. Welcome in, Gary. What does Giuseppe have for us tonight?
Which players wasted their potential the most? If I remember correctly, is Giuseppe a Cleveland Cavs fan? Let me know in the chat, Giuseppe.
Wow, Giuseppe, that's quite a question. Which players wasted their potential the most? Man. Now, there's 2 ways to attack this question. Great question.
LeBron.
Great question. I think, look, you could say, I don't want to say injury, because there are a lot of elite players with elite talent and skill sets that we never really saw materialize, or we never saw the talent really come fully to fruition, just because, unfortunately, they were undone by untimely and disappointing injury situations throughout the career. You know, players that come to mind most readily, for me anyway, in that regard, are like Penny Hardaway, Tracy McGrady, maybe even like Bill Walton. I'll tell you who else had a great start to his career. Brandon Roy, who never really became everything he could have. He had a great couple first years. Even we see a lot of him now on commercials and like in the studio. Blake Griffin was an absolute stud in his rookie year, like 22, 11, and 4 or something outrageous. Like one of the best rookie seasons this century from Blake Griffin. I think he was an all-star in his rookie year, actually, deservingly so. And then just never really could stay healthy. So there's a bunch of guys that didn't really fully recognize their potential because of injury, but that's not wasting it, to Giuseppe's point. So like, I don't want to say those guys wasted their talent. Unfortunately, injuries cost them their primes and the ability to be much better. So I'm trying to think of guys with immense talent and upside that just never really realized it. That's a good question. Man, Gary, what do you think? Do you have any thoughts on this while I continue to mull this over? I don't want to put you on the spot. You could throw it like hot potato it right back to me if you want.
Anthony Bennett. Is that not the worst number 1 pick of all time? Anthony Bennett.
Yeah. I
I wouldn't
mean,
say it's wasted potential. I'm joking. That's just when I hear, like, when I think of the worst players ever, he's the first one that pops in mind. What about Ben Simmons?
yeah, Ben Simmons is a good one. He was a very, very elite player early on in his career. I believe he made an all-star appearance. I think he was in the Rookie of the Year battle. I don't know that he actually won it. He finished first or second. I think he might have won Rookie of the Year actually. But then he definitely made an all-star appearance. Let me check old Ben Simmons out real fast. I just want to see. I think it was only one all-star game, but I just want to confirm that.
Ja Morant.
Two all-star. So 3 all-star appearances for Ben Simmons. He won Rookie of the Year because he didn't play his first year at all. Then he won Rookie of the Year. And then 3 straight all-star appearances and defensive. He was first team All-NBA defense for 2 years in a row. And he was an All-NBA third team. Like that, he had his first 4 years were really good. This is that is crazy. He averaged 16 points, 8 rebounds, and 8 assists. 16, 8, and 8 his first 4 seasons with elite defense. And he played, but he still wasn't playing that many games. He played 81 games and 79 games his first 2 seasons, then 57 and then 58, and then it was just over. Like he didn't play the whole year. It says did not play, holdout / back injury. We're like, remember, he just basically faked a back injury that whole 5th year and just refused to play and stole like $30 million in salary. It's just incredible. Then after that, 42 games, 15 games, 51 games, 33 games, 18 games. Just unbelievable. Again, though, that is.
I've got the answer. I've got the answer. Zion.
And look, I was thinking him too, but you can kind of say with Ben Simmons, you could say it's kind of injury related. And same with Zion Williamson. Like Zion is it injury or are these guys just faking injuries and load managing and too mentally weak and soft to get on the floor? Like it's hard.
His diet. He's not eating properly. That's why I think, and that's what's leading to the injuries.
I mean, because Gary, look, Zion, let me read you the games that he's played and missed in 6 years in the NBA. 24 games, 61 games, didn't play the whole year. Then 29 games, 70 games, 30 games, and 62 games. So theoretically, in 6 years, which is really 7, because he didn't play a full year, so they're not even counting that as a year. So it's really 7 years. So in 7 years in the NBA, like, it's just crazy. He has played over the 65 game threshold minimum 1 time in 7 years. So like, I get it of why you would say wasted, but again, is it injury? Is he wasting it or is he just hurt? Because when he's on the floor, he is actually an elite player. Like 24 points per game, 6 rebounds and 4 assists on 60% shooting from the field when he's on the floor. And I want to say he is like top 20 all time in player efficiency rating. But let me check that out real quick.
Yeah, that's why I mentioned, because he is elite. But look at how overweight he is. And remember Ja Morant after you talk about Zion. Ja Morant is another candidate.
Okay, Zion, I guess, he's not even showing up on this list. I don't think he's even eligible. So let me just see what his career PER is actually. He's not showing up on the list I'm looking at, but I think he's got a crazy PER for his career. 24.6 career PER for Zion. And to put that in perspective, if he were eligible for games played, he would be 12th all time in career PER, above Charles Barkley, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Kevin Durant, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Tim Duncan, Magic Johnson, Karl Malone, Kawhi Leonard, Hakeem Olajuwon, Larry Bird, Dwayne Wade, and Kobe Bryant. And Steph Curry, and Oscar Robertson, and Jerry West, just to name a few. Those are all the guys that Zion Williamson has a higher career PER than. So, like, when he's on the floor, he is a great player. He just is barely ever on the floor. Yeah, I mean, Zion or John Morant is another good. He was all NBA early in his career. He also was rookie of the year, I do believe. And then all NBA, one, at least two. Let me pull it up here. Rookie of the year, all NBA second team when he was 22 years old. So when he was 22 years old in his third year in the NBA, he finished 7th in MVP. He was the most improved player. He was an all-star. He was an all-NBA second team. He scored 27 points per game, 7 assists, and 6 rebounds. That's elite. Those are elite numbers. But again, yeah, a lot of this, again, though, they're just unavailable. Like that year, he only played 57 games. Then he only played 61 the following year. And now, after that year, 9 games, 50 games, 20 games. Like, they're just not on the floor. So it's hard. Like, can we come up with a name where a guy was just talented and played a lot, but just never really became the guy we thought that he was going to be? Because all of these guys that we've just come up with are great examples of guys that never materialized on their potential, but a lot of it was just because they just weren't available enough. They weren't playing enough. I'm struggling to find. Go ahead, Gary.
I was saying John Morant played a lot, didn't he?
No, I just read you the games that he's played in the last. Like, he was elite early on in his career.
That was recent though, but before that, he played a lot. I thought, like his first
Gary,
5 or 6 years.
Let me read you the games played. The games played. This is all game, not just game started, games played. 67, 63, 57, 61, 9, 50, 20. So he's been over 65 games. Again, if we're going by the minimum threshold for like year-end awards, he's been in the NBA this will be his 8th year coming up. One time out of 7 years, he's played over 65 games once, and that was his rookie year. And then after that, I mean, he's been out of the 50s only twice. So no, he's just not available. I think it's hard to answer this question, which players wasted their potential the most, because most of the names we're coming up with are just hurt all the time, or they're suspended, or they're not available, or whatever. So, like, in terms of which guys were just like supremely talented, I mean, I don't know. I mean, Kwame Brown, maybe, like, he was the number 1 overall pick in the NBA draft, and never really. So you would think that he would be talented because he was the number 1 overall pick in the draft, right? And he was available. He played in. And I don't want to harp on Kwame Brown, because I actually like Kwame Brown a lot. I like him a lot now. He's a big anti-LeBron guy. He loves Kobe. But Kwame, he had a 12-year career, 6 points per game, 5.5 rebounds. So 6.5 rebounds, 5.5 assists, or 5.5 rebounds. I don't know. I would say Greg Oden would be in the mix, but again, it's just because he was hurt. Go ahead, Gary.
Another name, DeMarcus Cousins. Because of his attitude, he wasted a lot of his potential. He could have been really good had his head been in the right space.
I like that one. That's a good one. Gary, if you came up with that one, or something, kudos to you. Or if someone in the chat came up with them.
I came up with that just now.
Okay. I like it, Gary. Good work. Kudos to you. Yeah, DeMarcus Cousins is an interesting one, because he had insane numbers, at one point in the middle of his career. And let me see how highly touted. I want to say he came out of Kentucky, and he was a very high draft pick. So that would be a very talented team, a very talented player. Yes, Kentucky, first round pick, 2010 draft, 5th overall pick. So yes, he was a very talented, blue chip caliber NBA prospect coming in, and his numbers were insane at one point in his career. He finished 3rd in rookie of the year, 14-9 as a rookie, first of all. So, and he played 81 games. So elite rookie season, 14-9 as a rookie. Then 18-11 in his second year, 17-10 his third year, 23-12 in his third year, 23, and then the crazy run of numbers start coming in his next couple years in his mid-20s. All NBA second team in back-to-back years, 24-13 the one year, 27-12. DeMarcus Cousins at the age of 25 averaged 27 points and 12 rebounds per game and 3 assists, by the way, was all NBA second team. And for 3 years in a row, he was an all-star, and crazy numbers 3 years in a row. Like for a 3-year span where he was an all-star all 3 years and all NBA 2 of the 3 years, for a 3-year run where he played 200 games in the NBA in his mid-20s, DeMarcus Cousins averaged 26 points per game, 12 rebounds, 4 assists, 1.5 blocks, 1.5 steals on pretty low field goal percentage for a big, but 46% from the field, 35% from the three. And then he was whatever, and a 76% free throw shooter. Those are crazily elite numbers for a dude that was in his mid-20s and then dropped off the planet, like completely vanished, like at the age of 26, basically, and was out of the NBA by 30. So that, you know what, Gary, that's a terrific pull by you. Like I'd say DeMarcus Cousins is a great suggestion in terms of guys that wasted their potential. Man, Giuseppe, great question. We really lingered on that one for a while because that was a very, very solid question. Next up, D Jiang, maybe D Jiang, 1498. Welcome in. Thank you very much for the support. We appreciate you here on the SKAP Live After Dark. Gary, what's the question or comment?
Did you know Kobe was in a rap group as a teenager in Philly? His battle rap name was 8 Man.
As someone who I am like a self-proclaimed is the word I'm looking for, like Kobe expert. Like I know everything there is to know about Kobe Bean Bryant, but I must admit, D. Jiang, that I actually did not know that. I know Kobe did have a rap album that he tried putting out when he was, I believe, a rookie in the NBA. Maybe his second year. I don't know. It didn't really materialize. And then he got really serious about his basketball. In fact, he even turned down the principal starring role in a little Spike Lee joint some of you might have heard of called He Got Game. That role was handwritten by Spike Lee for Kobe Bryant, who turned it down because he wanted to focus on his game. And of course, then famously went to Ray Allen, who played the titular title character, Jesus Shuttlesworth, one of the all-time great sports movies, if you ask me. Just a terrific film. You had Denzel Washington in that as well. Mila Jovovich, if I am saying her name properly, and a great cameo by Pretty Ricky. That's AKA Pretty Ricky, Rick Fox, one of my favorite NBA role players who played, of course, with Kobe Bryant on the Lakers, teams that won those first 3 chips with Shaquille O'Neal. But look, I must admit, D. Jiang, as I think I know everything about Kobe, I did not know that he was in a rap group, actually, nor did I know that his battle rap name was 8th Man. I'll take your word for it, D. Jiang, and I'll add that to my my Rolodex of Kobe Bryant factoids that I carry around with me. Thank you for the super chat, and thank you for that little tidbit as well. Next in, we've got Vinsanity the Great. What's up, Vinsanity? I'm sure a big Raptors fan here, as I like. Look at that old school Raptors logo there in the avatar. Love it. Gary, what does Vinsanity the Great have for us tonight?
We may be getting swept, but I'm happy for the Raptors this season. Shout out to Coach Darko for the best rants on this channel.
Yeah, Darko Rajakovic is an absolute stud and a legend. One of the greatest sports rants I've ever seen in my life it goes all the way up there. It's up there in the upper echelon of all-time great rants, if you ask me. I mean, for me, for my money, my favorites, definitely. I'm just going to throw some random ones out here. I don't mean to drag this question or this super chat out, but I just have some random rants that I really love. Hal McRae was a man. He was the skipper, the manager of the LA Dodgers back in like the 80s, maybe, or the early 90s. And he had just an incredible meltdown. He was like in his office for whatever reason in Long John's, and there were reporters in there, and he like ripped his phone out of the wall and threw it at one of the reporters. The reporters are like running out of his room. Like one of them is like bleeding from the head, and he just had a crazy rant, like profanity-laced tirade, just hilarious footage. If you guys are on this stream right now and you don't know what I'm talking about, you haven't seen it, go after we end this live stream. Please stay on the live stream for now. But when we end the live stream, go to YouTube and search out Hal McRae rant. It's incredible footage. I also love the John Chaney and John Calipari confrontation, like way back in the day, when it was like UMass, I want to say, and Temple. So like Chaney was coaching Temple and Calipari was coaching UMass. So, and they were in a post-game press conference situation. The game got heated and there was like the players got into a fight, and then Calipari and Chaney had words on the court. I think it was Calipari was on the post-game. He was on the podium in the post-game press conference, and Chaney burst into the presser, and they were like had to be separated in the press conference. Just an incredible all-time rant. Really, that's about all I would put above my main man Darko Rajakovic. It's a complete crap. Of course, you've got Jim Morris Sr. with some legendary ones. The playoffs rant as the Colts, and then honestly, a very underrated one. Everyone thinks of Jim Mora Sr. as the playoffs guy when he was coaching the Colts, but I actually prefer the diddly poo Jim Morris Sr. rant when I believe he was the Saints coach. We couldn't do diddly poo on offense. We got our asses totally kicked in the second half. Guys, I hope you're jotting these down because they're pure gold. You should rush out to YouTube after this live stream ends and Google these or YouTube them. Other than that, though, Darko, right up there. Gary, go ahead. You could break in.
Shout out to Dennis Green.
Denny, great. They were who we thought they were. If you want to crown their ass, go ahead and crown their ass. But they were who we thought they were, and we let them off the hook. Great. R.I.P. Denny Green, the great Dennis Green, and a great rant there by him as well. Lots of great rants. But yes, Darko, very high up on the totem pole or the hierarchy of my all-time personal favorite rants. As you all know, I use that "it's a complete crap" drop all the time. Go ahead, Gary.
Herm Edwards.
I do love that, Herm Edwards. You play to win the game. Hello. Great rant by him too. Yes, there's a lot of great legendary ones, but I love Darko. Shout out to him. A great Serb, a great Serbian, just like that, Nikola Jokic. And yes, Vincenti the Great. I will be rooting for your Raptors this playoff series just because of the great Darko Rajakovic. But I do not anticipate them winning that series. Hopefully they do not get swept, though. I'd like to see them at least win 2 games if we can squeeze 2 out there. We got Jason back in. He did respond. Ernie, Barkley. Oh, they have Denver. Wow. Ernie Johnson and Charles Barkley have Denver, and Shaq and Kenny have San Antonio. So I'm sitting here. I still don't even feel that confident about Denver beating Minnesota. I think they will. But that's going to be a dogfight in the second round, though, against the Spurs. And then ultimately, I guess Ernie Johnson and Charles Barkley have the winner of that second round bout between the Spurs and the Nuggets, ultimately beating the Thunder and going to the NBA championship. I guess all of these guys have the winner of that. So all 4 guys on Inside the NBA have picked against a team that has won 65 games this year, I think 64, 65 games, the number one seed in the conference, in the NBA overall for the second year in a row, the number one seed in the conference for the third year in a row, because they tied Denver 3 years ago, but had the tiebreaker on them. So they also, of course, won the NBA championship last year. They are going to have the back-to-back league MVP, and not one person on Inside the NBA has picked them to win the conference even. All four of these guys have the winner of the second round matchup between Denver and San Antonio going to the NBA Finals. I love the confidence for the Denver Nuggets. I don't share it, obviously, but again, I am an eternal pessimist. Thank you for clarifying that, Jason. I appreciate you sliding back in, and I appreciate you being here as always, my friend. Najee Vassell, what's up? Welcome into you. Thank you for being here. Gary, what is the question or comment from Najee?
I'm excited to see the Spurs light shine bright during the playoffs, and this is the time we will see if they live up to the hype.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what they come out with tomorrow. They're, like I said earlier, they're massive favorites at home against the Trailblazers, 10.5-point favorites. But Portland, they showed a little spunkiness and some fight in that playing game. Denny Avdia, I always mispronounce that guy's name. I don't know if the D or the V comes first. I think it's Avdia. Terrific season for him. Breakout year, all-star. And he exploded in that first playing game. What a massive performance. 40 points, 12 assists, 7 rebounds from him. Totally outplayed Devin Booker and everybody for that matter on the Phoenix Suns. I didn't even think Portland was going to get into the postseason. They're the 7th seed now. So we'll see. This will be an interesting moment for the Spurs, because the Thunder, look, the Spurs are supremely talented and they should have a good look at getting very deep into the playoffs this year. But they are like the Thunder were last year, like a very young, unproven team going into their first real playoff setting. I guess you can make a case the Thunder had that year, the year prior, when they lost in the second round to the Dallas Mavericks and Luka Doncic. But I'm interested to see what kind of tone the Spurs set in game one. Like, they're probably going to win the game, but are they going to let Portland kind of stick around, be competitive, or are they just going to dishearten them from the beginning and whoop their ass by 30 points? I'm interested to see. Either way, it's going to be a compelling look. They're going to win this first round series. It ain't in the bag for Denver, but Denver's off to a good start. Let's just say that. So Denver and San Antonio will be a beaut of a second round series. Denver's just going to play in the best series all the way through. I think they're supposed to be in the best series in the first round. They'll be in the best series in the second round if it's them in San Antonio. And then who knows if they get by San Antonio, who knows what they'll deliver for the Oklahoma City Thunder in that round. But Denver is going to just be compelling because they play pretty lousy defense and they are one of the best offenses of all time. So they can neutralize almost any defense and give any defense trouble. And then any team is going to be with them, stick with them, because their defense isn't very good. So Denver will be, and they've got such a compelling player in Nikola Jokic. So yeah, they're going to be just a fun series, I think, all the way through. And Najee, to your point, the Spurs, they're going to be ahead of schedule. If they get into that second round series against the Nuggets, they will likely be favored. They have, I think they won 62 games this year. The Nuggets won only 53. They'll have home court advantage. They're going to have a guy that finishes higher than Nikola Jokic in league MVP vote this year, because Victor Wembanyama is going to be second in that behind Shea, and Jokic is going to finish third or fourth. So all signs point to the Spurs. They should be favored in that series, but I still think they'll be playing with house money because they are a young, inexperienced team, and they're ahead of schedule right now. So there will be no shame if they do lose to the Nuggets in that series. It will be as long as they push the Nuggets and strain them and really make them earn it, I think that will be a successful year for the Spurs. Next in, we've got Will N8664. What's up, Will? Welcome back in to the show here. We appreciate you being here and supporting us. Gary, what's the question or comment from Will?
If both Fred VanVleet and Steven Adams were fully healthy, how much better would the Rockets be as far as standings? And let me add to that, Scap. How do you feel about Steven Adams? I love Steven Adams, by the way.
Yeah, I think the Rockets would have been the best team in the NBA this year, at least the West, other than the Thunder. If they had a healthy Fred VanVleet, a healthy Steven Adams, and they didn't have tossle cap Durant. If they had a healthy Durant and a non-bruised knee Durant. I think if they had a fully healthy squad as intended and built, I think that the Houston Rockets would have been right there. I probably don't think they would have gotten the 2. I don't think they would have won 63 games this year. The Spurs still would have been the 2, but the Rockets would have been the 3 for sure. If they had those teams, they for sure would have won more than 50. I think the Nuggets won 54. I think the Rockets probably would have won 57, 58 games at that point. So I think it would have been Houston in the 3 playing the Timberwolves right now. And I would have liked Houston with that team to win that series. And then that would have been a hell of a series, I think. The 3-2 against the second series, it would have then been them against the Spurs. I think I probably would have liked San Antonio to win that series too, with the height, with the size of Steven Adams and Alperen Sengun, with KD then, and a viable, floor general and Fred VanVleet. Yeah, I think the Rockets probably would have been in the West Finals against the Thunder, and they matched up fairly favorably then with that squad intact against the Thunder. But and that's all woulda, coulda, shoulda, because no Fred VanVleet, no Steven Adams, and KD doing whatever the hell he's doing right now with his tossle cap. So they're not even guaranteed to move on into the second round at this point. So,
and what's your opinion on Steven Adams?
Big Steven Adams fan. The guy from down under. Well, actually, he's from New Zealand, not Australia. But he came all the way from New Zealand to play 1 year in college at anybody, the Pittsburgh Panthers. I know that because I am, of course, born and raised in Pittsburgh. But yes, big Steven Adams fan. We've got, okay, good. I didn't skip Joshua CHNFG. Welcome into you. Thanks for being here. Thanks for the support. Gary, what's Joshua's random question?
What's your opinion on Bonzi Wells?
I remember Bonzi Wells. I think he actually played for the Rockets. He was a bit of a journeyman. I think he might have played for the Kings too. Kind of bounced all over the place. I remember Bonzi Wells though pretty well because he played in that like early 90s era, like late 90s, early 2000s, like the peak Kobe Bryant era. And he was actually pretty feisty against Kobe. I remember he was like pretty athletic, strong, a physical player. I'm trying to think where did he play on Portland? He played on Houston for a little bit. Portland.
I got it right here. He played on Portland from 98 to 2003.
Okay, Portland.
Then 2003 to 2005, Memphis. 2005 to 6, Sacramento. 2006 to 2008, Houston Rockets. 2008, New Orleans Hornets, and then he went overseas.
So a bit of a journeyman, but a bunch of those names, a bunch of those teams that you rattled off, I've got him up now too. So he had some really good years, like 17 points per game with Portland 1 year. He was finished in 6-man voting 1 year, averaged double digits a number of years. He averaged double digits for, I don't know, about a seven-year span. But yeah, a number of the names of the teams you just rattled off were Lakers rival teams or teams in the West. So yeah, I remember Bonzi Wells pretty well. And he was, Joshua, to your point, I always respected him as an athlete and a competitor. And he was never afraid of Kobe. Like he never really shied away. He ended up matched up on Kobe a bunch because he was right around, 6'5", 6'6", like 215-ish pounds. Like kind of just made sense that he pulled the Kobe assignment a lot of times. So, and he never really backed down. So I have respect for Bonzi Wells. To answer your random question, Joshua. Next, Type Sheet is back in. What's up, bro? Welcome back into you. And thank you again for your kind and generous support here. Gary, what's this next question from him?
And quick fun fact to close out the other, Bonzi Wells is currently an assistant coach for Georgia Tech. Just FYI.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Oh, okay. All right. So Type Sheet says, I believe if Spurs and OKC meet in the conference finals, it will be the NBA finals, if that makes sense. LOL. Yeah. Yes. Very true.
That will be the consensus of what people think. And is it true those teams are likely the two best teams in the NBA? Probably. I do think the Nuggets have the best player in the NBA by a pretty wide margin still. And I think they can make it interesting if they all stay healthy. So the consensus will be whether it's OKC and San Antonio or Denver and OKC. The consensus will be that either one of those series would be the real de facto NBA championship, and the winner will go on and ultimately beat whoever comes from the East. Denver can lose to literally anyone at any time. So if they get out somehow from the West, they could lose to like any number of teams in the East. Whereas the Knicks own the Spurs. Like the Knicks just match up very well against the Spurs for some reason. Like they beat the hell out of them. I think both games actually. So like not so fast there. And then the Celtics actually match up pretty favorably against the Thunder. Like the Celtics and Thunder played twice really recently. They played in March, both times. And the one time the Celtics did not have Jason Tatum and they did not have Derek White. Two of their three leading scorers for the year, two of their three best players out. And yet it took a Shea like buzzer beater to win that game by 2. Then like a week and a half later, they rematched, those teams did. Boston had their full complement. The Thunder had their full complement. And the Celtics easily won that game by like 12 points. So not so fast. While that is the consensus that the best team will come from the West and the team that wins the Western Conference Finals will win the NBA championship, there are some good teams in the East. I think Boston gets out ultimately, and that's a very talented team. So I think, no, that is no lock that the team that gets out of the West. I think the Eastern team can make it extremely interesting, especially if it is like definitely the Celtics or even the Pistons, even the Cavs or the Knicks. I think all of those teams can at least make it interesting. The Cavs will probably pose the least threat in my estimation of those teams I rattled off, but I think the NBA Finals will be good this year. But good question, E. Wolfsbane back in. What's up, Wolfsbane? Welcome back in again to you for whatever second or third time. As always, I do appreciate you, Gary. What is the question or comment from Wolfsbane this time?
What do you think of guys scared to go to the Heat because of Pat Riley?
Well, just soft. I mean, if you're afraid to go to the Heat because of the great legendary Pat Riley, who one of the all-time great coaches and just architects. Sorry, I have a bit of a scratch in my nose area. Just one of the great architects in NBA history and coaches. So if you're afraid or if you're avoiding going to Miami because whatever, you might clash with Pat Riley in some way, shape, or form, just soft. And Pat Riley said as much while LeBron James was on his way out when he said, winning is hard. It's not supposed to be easy. This was when they lost to the Spurs. He's like, if you have enough, courage to come back and do the hard things, then we'll win again. Of course, LeBron was a coward and he couldn't do the hard things, of course, and he just ran to his next super team. But just people that are afraid of Riles are just as soft like LeBron James is. Next in, we've got Stefan Piscano podcast. What's up, Stefan? A big friend of the show, a friend personally. Thank you very much, my friend, for your continuous and ongoing support of me and the channel. I do appreciate it greatly. One of these days, we will collaborate in some way. Actually, we have collaborated. I went on his podcast. It was a lot of fun. Thanks for having me on again for that. And hopefully we can figure out something to collaborate and work on again sometime very soon. But for right now, thank you very much for your very generous contribution here. And Gary, what is the question or comment from him tonight?
Great to see the lives back, SKAP. Oh, let me start over. I apologize. Great to see the lives back. SKAP, I'm here on behalf of Latvia to lobby for your support for Luka in his quest to overcome the LeBron-run media's assault on his legacy. Luka and Latvia need you. And you read the last part to me.
Gary, congrats on the Spurs, brother. Yeah, I mean, it's Gary. Obviously, it's a great year for Gary. He's not only is he a big Spurs guy, and he has been for like decades, he also was way out in front on this when everybody, including me and everybody in the chat, was just avalanching Gary and saying that they should just blow this team up and bring in Giannis Antetokounmpo. Gary stood his ground and was firm and said, no, I don't want that injury-prone, over-the-hill 30-year-old. I want this well-constructed team that they have amassed around Victor Wembanyama. And Garrett was right, because the Spurs look like they're like 1 year away from like a little dynastic run. So yes, definitely congrats on the Spurs, Gary. And yeah, Luka, I mean, Stephen, I don't think he really needs my help that much, because LeBron is likely to be run off this summer no matter what happens the rest of the way in these playoffs. So Luka will be able to start legacy building on his own right in Los Angeles with a team that is much better constructed and built around him for his needs and to support what he does. Unless the Lakers do some insane, if they do something crazy, like if LeBron wins this series, which now looks very plausible, by the way, and then they get Luka and Reeves back, and they somehow beat the Thunder and get into the Western Conference Finals, and then who knows? I think the Spurs would crush them, but they might beat the Nuggets. So maybe they get all the way into the NBA Finals. Look, if the Lakers win the championship or something, which I don't think is going to happen, but even if they beat the Thunder or something, or at least are competitive with the Thunder, like if they lose 4-2 to the Thunder and it's like not humiliating games, like maybe then LeBron will return. But other than that, I mean, if they lose in this first round, or if they get humiliated by the Thunder, like if they lose like 4-0 by whatever, like 85 points or some shit over the 4 games, I think if any of those scenarios play out, LeBron will be gone definitively, and Luka, it will be Luka time in Tinseltown. So he doesn't really need me to help him, because Luka is going to be able to showcase everything moving forward. Though I do think I think he gets somewhat of a bum rap, but then I do think he deserves some of the bum rap that he gets. I mean, he is one of the elite all-time offensive engines that we've ever seen. And he does do some things, like his steals and blocks and stuff are like better and higher than you would think. And like when he's surrounded by a pretty good defensive core, he's not completely lousy. Like it's basically like if he has no other good defenders around him, he doesn't look so good defensively. But still though, there is still some questions about his conditioning and his availability. So there are still, I think the verdict is still out for Luka, but in terms of his like offensive prowess, and the numbers are going to be elite all-time numbers. So like the numbers will position him favorably in all-time conversations, because he also came in at a very young age. Like he's been doing this since he was 19. Like basically, he averaged like 25 and 5 when he was 19. And then in his next season at the age of 20, he was like averaging 27, 7, and 9 or something like that. And he's just been doing it from since then. And he's going to be doing it till he's like 40 because he has limited athleticism. So he really just does it with skill set, kind of similar to Jokic. So, I mean, his numbers will be elite all-time numbers. But, yeah, he's going to have to win some other things, especially surrounded by great players that, you know, he's played with Kyrie Irving. He's played now with LeBron, Austin Reeves. Like, they're going to probably dump LeBron, have $50 million to work with, bring some other high-level blue chip kind of player in. So, you know, he's got to win some stuff. He's got enough talent around him to do it. Next in, punished Rob Thames. Back for a second consecutive night. Yeah, we were on 2 nights ago. So back again and still punished, unfortunately, Rob. I hate to see you punished, my friend. But glad to have you back here in the SKAP Live After Dark area. Gary, what does Rob have for us tonight?
I heard someone talk about wasted potential. I think Ja Morant tops that list. Do you think the Grizz beat Golden State in 22 if he doesn't get injured?
Yeah, I kind of do think that they would have beaten them in 22. That series was, I want to say it was 2-1. And then more than just Morant got hurt, but Morant was killing Steph Curry head-to-head in that series. Like, obviously, Steph Curry wasn't defending him because Steph Curry hides on defense his whole career. But Morant was going berserk in that series. And the Grizz looked good. And in fact, the Grizzlies were very competitive. I think they won a couple. I think they lost that series 4-2, honestly. Despite John Morant, he played like 2 games, maybe 3 games, and he looked terrific. He was the best player on the floor in a series that contained Steph Curry. But let me just go ahead and find that so we can talk specifically, and it's not all off of the top of my memory. That was the second round of the Warriors championship run. That was the year they won Steph's 4th title. In the first round, they played the Denver Nuggets, the Golden State Warriors did. Listen to this pathetic run. See, I don't want to hate on Steph, but people always, look, I don't, because I respect what he's done with the size that he has and the ability that he's cultivated. I respect him, but the guy is so lucky. He has such an overrated career, in my opinion. Like, he gets the one championship again that I talked about earlier, where Kevin Love and Kyrie Irving miss the whole series. Matthew Dellavedova is the second best player on the Cavaliers, and LeBron and Cleveland had him down 2-1. So they win that series. They then get Kevin Durant to win the next 2 series. So that's his first 3 rings. Then this putrid 2022 lucky-ass run that he had for his 4th ring. Beat the Denver Nuggets 4-1 in the first round in a series where Nikola Jokic was missing both Michael Porter Jr. and Jamal Murray. Didn't have either of them. Jokic in that series, 31 points, 13 rebounds, 6 assists, 1.5 steals, 1 block on 58% shooting. So Jokic was clearly the best player on the floor in that series. It wasn't Steph Curry. But again, Jokic, his second leading scorer in that series was Monte Morris. Okay, this was the starting 5 for the Denver Nuggets in that series, in that first round series. Nikola Jokic, Monte Morris, Will Barton, Aaron Gordon, and Jeff Green. Okay, no Michael Porter Jr., no Jamal Murray. So I don't even think the Nuggets or the Warriors would have got out of the first round that year that Steph Curry won his 4th ring if the Nuggets weren't missing their 2 best players or 2 of their 3 best players, other than, of course, Nikola Jokic. Then, to your point and your question, the next round they played the Memphis Grizzlies, and that was a 4-2 final series. But Memphis got 4-2 in that, despite having Ja Morant for only 3 of the 6 games. Okay? And in the 3 games that Ja Morant played, by the way, Steph dropped 26, 5, and 6 in that series on 41% shooting from the field and 32% shooting from the three-point line. Not a particularly good series for Steph Curry. Ja Morant in the 3 games that he played, 38 points per game, 8 assists, 7 rebounds on 51%. If he was shitting on them, okay, I remember that vividly. So Steph gets the injury depleted Nikola Jokic MVP. He was the MVP that year, and he balled out and dominated the Warriors in his series, but had Monty Morris and Will Barton in his starting lineup. Then the Grizzlies are just working the Warriors with Ja Morant when he's in there, but he played in only 3 of the 6 games. So they then go on and then get the Dallas Mavericks, who really shouldn't have even been in there in that series at the time. And then the Celtics pooped themselves in the finals. The Celtics were up 4-2 and dominating that series and then didn't win another game. Just a lucky run by Steph Curry. So yes, to answer your question, punished Rob Thames, Steph should only have 3 rings. This is the luck I'm talking about. See, most of the people who have the luck that I talked about, Kobe should have more than 5. LeBron, quite frankly, admittedly should have more than 4. Durant should have more than 2. Steph Curry actually has more than he should have, if you ask me. Like, Steph Curry should have like 1 or 2 rings. The dude's got 4. And people out here putting him on Mount Rushmores and stuff. I don't get it. I never will get it with Steph Curry. I respect him. And I'm happy that he has maximized his potential physically so much. And he's a very hard worker. But Mount Rushmore for Steph Curry is nuts, if you ask me. Giuseppe is back in again. What's up, brother? Gary, what's the next question here from Giuseppe?
I think the people love Curry so much because it's just visually appealing, seeing all those threes and people just romanticize.
Because he's a little guy.
Yeah.
Gary, I mean, he's like, whatever, 6'3".
Oh, no. I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying I think that's just why, because he's just so fun to watch. And I think that's so people romanticize that and they don't realize, because remember when Klay Thompson went down and Steph was trying to lead the team and they were garbage. When Durant left and Klay was out, they were horrific with just him and Draymond.
Yeah.
So yeah, I see your point. He's not Mount Rushmore. He's just such a phenomenal shooter and just so fun to watch. All right. Giuseppe's back in. Who has more dynasty potential? Spurs, Thunder, Nuggets.
If I had water in my mouth, I would have spit it at my computer screen here. The Nuggets, get out of here, Giuseppe. Nikola Jokic is 31, I think, this year. Aaron Gordon's hamstrings are made of fruit roll-ups and disintegrate nearly every time he jumps off the ground and lands. Jamal Murray had the best season of his entire career now. But again, he has substantial availability issues himself. They are capped out of this world. They finally have a really good 4th guy in Cam Johnson and maybe even Peyton Watson is their 4th guy. So like they finally get Cam Johnson and Peyton Watson, but I don't think they're going to be able to keep both. Peyton Watson, they've got his bird right. So if they weren't cheap, pathetic losers, they could keep this whole team. But they're probably going to either let Peyton Watson go or they're going to trade Cam Johnson to re-sign Peyton Watson, because they signed bum-ass Christian Brown to a 5-year, $125 million deal. He stinks. So now they're going to have to probably lose Peyton Watson or Cam Johnson in the offseason. They just suck. The Nuggets suck. They are terrible at team building. They fell ass backwards with the 41st pick in the draft to a top 10 all-time player, and they have completely wasted and squandered his entire career. So that's a joke, obviously, Giuseppe, to include the Nuggets. Nikola Jokic will be lucky if his scrub loser franchise can keep these players together and they can stay healthy enough to squeeze one more ring out for him. When we're talking Spurs Thunder, that's a great question. I mean, that is a tough question. I think, look, we could potentially be looking at like Kobe and Duncan. I don't want to compare these two necessarily. I don't want to compare necessarily Victor to Duncan or Shea to Kobe, though maybe this could be like the 2.0, the Kobe v. Duncan 2.0 thing, where it's like Kobe and Duncan coincided and overlapped for like a huge span of time in the same conference, and they both were dynastic. They both won 5 championships. Like that could be what we're on the cusp of seeing now between Victor Wembanyama and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander over the next like 10 years. So the answer is, I don't know. It's a coin toss between the Thunder and the Spurs and the Nuggets. That's just a joke to include them in that mix. Ruthless Raiders 78. Go ahead, Gary. I'll let you read it.
I'm a man. I'm 40. That's in response to the coach's rants.
Of course. Yes, of course. Another legendary one and another one of my all-time favorites. Shout out to Mike Gundy, who, when you have a really legendary rant, much like my main guy, Darko, who had like a multitude, he had like 3 or 4 different drops in there. Like he began with, that's outrageous, which I love to play also. Scotty Barnes is going to be an all-star. Go ahead and give them the game. It's a complete crap. He had literally like multiple great drops. Mike Gundy's I'm a man, I'm 40 rant has a ton of, it has a multiple different rants or portions, facets. It's a multifaceted rant. It has lots of great drops. Like fat. He says fat funny. He said like he wishes. He's talking about an article. For those of you who don't know, Mike Gundy was a college football head coach. I think he might have still been until recently. He was, I think it was Oklahoma State was who he was coaching like 20 years ago. He's like 60 now. But at the time, like 20 years ago, he had a rant. And it was because in response to a local writer who was writing a story about the starting quarterback of the Oklahoma State team that they benched, and they speculated that because he was soft and afraid and like whatever. Mike Gundy took exception to the article, and he basically said to this writer, who I believe was a woman, I hope you don't have any kids, obviously, but I hope you do one day, and I hope he's fat, and then and he gets made fun of at school, and then you have to explain to him why other kids are so mean or whatever. This is all part of the one rant where Gundy then famously says, I'm a man, I'm 40, come after me. Don't attack a kid on my team. And then he says at the end of the rant, incredible rant, by the way, just incredible. This is why I don't read the paper. This is why I don't listen to the media, because it's garbage. And the editor that let it in is garbage. So I used the garbage drop too. Just a terrific rant by Mike Gundy. So guys, we give you another one. Thank you, Ruthless Raider 78. Go YouTube that rant too when we finish up here. Giuseppe is back in yet again. Go ahead, Gary, with Giuseppe's latest question in Super Chat. Thank you, Giuseppe.
Well, Xavier's not here, so Giuseppe is taking his place tonight. How would you fix the NBA if you were commissioner?
Yeah, first thing I would do, I would immediately put back in hand checking, and I would I think I would bring back in illegal defensing, so like eradicate zoning, and essentially I would mandate, by doing that, I am essentially mandating one-on-one coverages, and I would allow the hand checking, so allow the physicality in the one-on-one coverages. I think that would take care of a lot of problems with the like 40, 50 3-point shots that we see per game. And I think it would really bring back in a level of passion and pride, quite frankly, in the defense. Like if you can't hide in a zone or whatever, like if you're getting cooked, like it's you, like whoever it is. Like if someone's going off, like it's you. There's someone who's guarding one person specifically who is to blame for that point output on you. So I think those are like the first two things I would do. I would then also talk with my officials and I would change the way the game's being called. This perpetual flopping on offense, like flopping on defense is one thing, but when you're flailing around, grifting your way to the free throw line, like that's not happening. Like if you're just throwing your body into people and chucking the ball towards the rim with no intentions of actually making the basket, you're literally just trying to grift your way to the free throw line. Like that's not going to be a foul anymore. Like you're not getting rewarded with free throw attempts anymore at this point. If SKAP attack is commissioner SKAP attack. So those are some so basically I'm focused on how do I bring competition back on the defensive side and how do I limit like the free flowing offense. I like the offense, but I want it to come against good defense. So that's what I would really focus on first and foremost. Then I would also try to attack this load managing shit. I would take away the 65 game minimum. I don't like that. I think if like Luka Doncic does, Luka Doncic played more minutes this year than Victor Wembanyama. Like he should be eligible for the year-end awards. I think it's an ad hoc basis. Like if a guy is legitimately injured, like Nikola Jokic was legitimately injured. Like if he missed like another game or two down the stretch after the 16 that he missed with legitimate injury, he should still have been eligible. Cade Cunningham should still be eligible. Like Cade Cunningham wasn't load managing. He got a legitimate injury. But if you only play 60 games, but you have legitimate injuries, you're still eligible. But if you play like 70 games and you're load managing, like I might snag your eligibility somehow. Like I would be looking specific, maybe 70 is a bit harsh, but like I would try my best to eradicate the load management angle of what's happening. I would probably put incentives in for the franchises to play the players. I would then also spread the games out more because I do think the back-to-backs and playing like 5 games in 6 days or whatever, 4 games in 5 nights, like it is unnecessary. So I would probably limit, I would maybe play only 72 games and I would take away the back-to-backs to make sure that the players weren't getting hurt and to incentivize them playing all of the games. Those are just a couple things that Commissioner SKAP Attack would do, Giuseppe. Good question. Go ahead, Gary.
As assistant commissioner, well, this is a pretty senior commissioner move. This doesn't make sense to me the way they have it scheduled. Here we go. September through December is NFL, and then you've got the baseball playoffs. NFL is king. The second half of the season of NFL is always fascinating. The first quarter of the NBA is typically not all that interesting, especially compared to the NFL. Now, when the finals take place the middle of June, early to mid-June, dog days of summer. We have nothing. Here's what Commissioner Gary 828 does. NBA season starts January 1st, right? As soon as the NFL playoffs are on, it's only going to be a couple games a week, and the NBA season will be young, so that right after the Super Bowl, boom, you'll be going into that second quarter of the NBA, and we're going to take the finals instead of June. We're going to have baseball and the NBA playoffs during the summer. We're going to have the finals in August, right as we're getting into preseason and revving up for the NFL season to begin. January through August would be the season for NBA.
I co-sign that as my deputy co-commissioner or whatever. I would endorse that, Gary 828. I like it. All right, we've got Joshua CHNFG back in. Joshua, what's up? Thank you again. I appreciate the support. Gary, what's this next question from him?
Who had a better career, Vince Carter or Tracy McGrady? Also, why all the jealousy from Tracy McGrady on Kobe recently?
Yeah, I don't know what that was, honestly. I hate to see it. It really does hurt me because I love Tracy McGrady. He's one of my favorite players all time. Obviously, as you guys know, Kobe is my favorite player. But Tracy and Kobe actually grew up together. They like lived, I forget which one lived with who. Maybe Tracy lived with Kobe in the summer. They played like AAU circuit and some ABCD camps together, like when they were in high school range. And they like spent summers at each other's houses together. And they were really good, close friends. And in the aftermath of Kobe's unfortunate death, Tracy McGrady was like one of the guys that he was just like devastated, beside himself. Like he could not even be on air. I remember he just absolutely broke down on air a couple times. So to see him now, like in the last couple months or whatever, saying like he could win championships like with Shaq and like he could have done what Kobe did, like it's just outrageous suggestions. Like I love Tracy McGrady. I honestly, Tracy McGrady's peak is higher than Vince Carter's to me, but Vince Carter had like his longevity, like the breadth of his career, like the fact that he didn't have all the injury issues. Like I would probably say Vince Carter overall had a better career than Tracy McGrady, just because of the unfortunate injuries that ensued and throughout really McGrady's early career. Like he was basically like 22 to 24, 25 was like all he got. Like that, and he was like elite. He was the offensive equal of Kobe Bryant at that point. Now Kobe was a much better defender, leader, winner, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But like Tracy was as good offensively as any player I've ever seen. But he was injured basically from 25 on. Like he really couldn't stay healthy. Whereas Vince Carter famously, he had a long ass career. He was playing when he was 40. He has one of the longest careers, him like LeBron, Kareem, and Vince Carter. And I think like Robert Parrish is up there. But anyway, I'd have to say overall Vince Carter. They're actually cousins, by the way, Vince Carter and Tracy McGrady. They played together in Toronto when McGrady came out of high school. But yeah, T-Matt, higher peak, Carter, better overall career. But very good question, Joshua.
Clutch got to Tracy McGrady is what I think.
Could be that clutch money rolling in. But yeah, great question, Joshua. And just a great night. Great night of NBA basketball. Great day and night. A quad header. Again, if you are just joining us or if you joined us late, all the home teams tonight won. All the favorite teams tonight won. Cleveland started the day off getting the win against Toronto. Denver, the second game, beat Minnesota. New York took care of business against the Hawks. And then the Lakers, sans KD for the Rockets, get the win in the nightcap. So all four home teams 4-0 today. Good start, though. All the games fairly competitive. The first game, not so much. But, we'll roll for game one. Tomorrow, huge favorites across the board. All four home teams should likely roll tomorrow as well. Not sure if I'll hop on or not tomorrow. Sunday, hopefully the games, let me see. I'm not sure. Let me check when the last game tomorrow is played. 9 p.m. So, yeah. So 11:30. So an earlier ending maybe. No, I guess about the same. Yeah, because the Lakers hit today.
You could come on during the second half, possibly.
So I'll consider perhaps. Oh, so LeBron owns me. just sent in another. Just sent in another super chat. Actually, we got two more super chats in here to end the night. I was just segueing off. So before we do these last two super chats, let me just say good night, Gary. Thank you for being here, obviously. We're going to keep going through these super chats. I will never knowingly not finish the super chats. maybe you'll sneak one in the chamber on my way out, but I will. We're at the 2 hour and 30 mark here. I probably will do a video still once I finish up here on that Lakers Rockets game. So I am trying to ferry myself off of this live stream, but we still do an impressive turnout tonight, Gary. I think we had near 800 people on this live stream at one point. Still 2.5 hours now in. It's 2 a.m. on the East Coast. 524 people strong still here in the SKAP Live After Dark. So a very strong performance out of you guys for showing up for me here in night one of the SKAP Live After Dark playoff edition. Thank you all for being here. So if I abruptly just bounce out of here when I finish these lives, I wanted to make certain that I say all my thanks and my goodbyes before, but we did get 2 more super chats in here. So let's go ahead and attend to those. Gary, what does LeBron owns me? I guess maybe this person just put that as the handle to hear me say it. The avatar is LeBron kissing Bugs Bunny's gal there. I forget what is that Bugs Bunny's lady friend from the Space Jams movie called? I can't really remember, Gary. But go ahead with whatever the question or comment is from LeBron owns me.
Dark Steel says Lola Bunny. There you go. All right. Us LeBron fans get a bad rap, and it's unfair. We had the genius idea on how to reduce injury frequencies, I guess. Make hop steps, gather steps, step backs equal traveling.
I can't tell if this is tongue-in-cheek. This is like a little sarcasm or not, or if he really is a LeBron fan. LeBron, look, LeBron owns me handle is completely bagless. We know it. He's 40. I want to say he's 41. We're about the same age. We were born very similarly the years, and we're both born in the month of December as well. I think he's 41. I know I look way better than LeBron, and unlike LeBron, I have a full head of hair. Thank you very much. But even at the age of 41, the ripe old age of 41, in year 23, this guy's still utterly bagless. The majority of his game and damage is all done in transition on fast breaks or cutting to the basket or just bully balling his way underneath, getting to the free throw line, layups, dunks, all his work basically within like 3 to 5 feet of the basket or just jacking up 3-pointers. So, yeah, I mean, LeBron, he doesn't really have a good handle. He doesn't have really good skill set or depth or range to his game. So, yeah, hop steps, gather steps, step backs. Yeah, LeBron, he deploys all of those things. Not necessarily very well, but, you know, at this point, look, it is what it is. What is it called? A leopard doesn't change its spots or whatever. We know what and who LeBron James is and what his game is now here in year, like I said, 23. But thank you, though, for coming in with Lola Bunny there in the avatar. I appreciate you. Next thing, we've got Type Shit back in. What's up, brother? For whatever, the 3rd, 4th time, whatever it is. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Gary, what is the question or comment this time?
Scott, will we see you on 10 haters versus 1 fan again? Maybe you need to go on for Jokic.
Yeah, I would love to go on again. Quite frankly, I would love to do it. Let me see, actually. For those of you who don't know, I went on this show. It was fans versus haters through shout out House of Highlights and Clash did it. They collaborated with me, brought me to New York. That was about a couple months ago now. I had an amazing time. It was a great experience. They flew me in, put me up in a hotel. I went to their studios, beautiful. It was in Central Park area. And I did a Kobe Bryant. I repped Kobe and I defended him against 10 haters. And I want to see, I'm trying to see how many, let me go to YouTube and see how many views that got. It's pretty high up there on the overall videos for them. They've got, let me see here, 438 videos posted at this point. And that video is their their 7th highest video on their channel. So the 7th most views is that one. It's called One Kobe Bryant Fan versus 10 Kobe Bryant Haters. If you guys haven't seen it, go to the Clash channel and check it out. Again, it's the 7th highest views on the channel. And that was only 5 months ago. The other videos that are above me were a year ago, 10 months ago. And then there is one that was only 3. There's 2 that are only 3 months ago. So those are, but 353,000 views on that one with me from 5 months ago. It's about an hour and 11 minutes. I think a pretty compelling, fun watch. And I had like I said, a great experience. Shout out to the guys at Clash. When I was there, afterwards, they talked about absolutely they would want me to come back. And I would absolutely be interested in going back. I suggested a Jokic one. I would do a Jokic one for sure. But realistically, there's many number of topics that I would very much like to go back. There was also discussions that we would maybe flip it and do one hater versus 10 fans, and I would do a LeBron topic, which of course is right in my wheelhouse. So hopefully we can, Clash, House of Highlights can work something out, and I will be on that again. Great question. Type shit. But that does bring us to the end of the super chats and the end of the show for tonight. 2.5 hours, not too shabby, not too long in the tooth. I like to try to keep these around 2 hours, 90 to 2 hours if I can, but you know, we get to rolling downhill sometimes with all these great questions and super chats from you guys. And we just go a little bit long. So we'll see. I'll probably put a video out tonight on this game, and then keep an eye on the games tomorrow and perhaps do another one of these tomorrow. If not, you could probably bank on me being on Monday night because, of course, the Nuggets, Nikola Jokic, Anthony Edwards, Minnesota Timberwolves are in action on Monday again. So probably, if not tomorrow, I will see you guys on here on Monday. And guys, as always, get to Gary828. Gary, why don't you just go ahead and drop all of your channels and projects real quick here?
The Gary828 Sports Talk, if anyone wants to go over there and check that out. And yeah, that's fine. I apologize to the chat. I know they're disappointed because SKAP, I didn't crash out tonight. And I know that's why they all come here. I read the comments about how much they love and appreciate it when I go on a rant like a lunatic. They love it. I apologize. You know, maybe next time.
Gary, as always, thank you for being here. Still near 500 people in here. Thank you guys all for being here. Hopefully you are all subscribed to SKAP Attack. If you're not, please make sure that you do and turn on notifications, of course, to stay up to date with more from me, because I drop videos all weird times of the day and hours. And I, of course, impromptu typically come on and set these live streams up like 10 minutes before I'm going to go on. So the best thing to do to stay up to date with all the stuff from me is to make sure you are subscribed with notifications turned on. Guys, many thanks for being here tonight, and I will see you all next time.